who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-262-2917. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-262-2917 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-262-2917 to see if you qualify. That's 800-262-2917.
Hey, you know why thousands of homeowners have had their homes coated with Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating? To eliminate the hassle and expense of painting year after year after year. With Rhino Shield's 25-year warranty, you coat your home once and you're done, guaranteed. And guys, not only can you scratch painting your home every few years off your honey-do list, Rhino Shield comes in your favorite color, the color that makes your wife happy. Rhino Shield is perfect for wood, brick, stucco, hardy board, steel, and vinyl. And unlike vinyl, Rhino Shield resists mold and mildew. So why wait? Call now for your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating for your home or business. 877-25-RHINO.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating. It's more affordable than you think. Call 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show.
This hour brought to you by the Rick and Tracy Ellis Real Estate Team. Heard right here on 97.1, Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 10. Visit TracyEllis.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
America's future is not written by our enemies. America's future is written by our heroes.
President Trump speaking today to mark the occasion, the remembrance of September 11, 2001. So 17 years ago, the question is always posed, where were you? 17 years ago, I was 17 years old. So I have now lived half of my life before 9/11, as we knew it, and half of my life after 9/11. And where I was on September 11th of 2001 was in my car driving to school. I was a senior in high school. And on my way into school, I think school started at about 8:20. And driving in, it's probably about 7:45, 7:50 in the morning. I believe I was listening to Guy Phillips on Y98, which is right next door. The studio is literally on the other side of the wall that I'm facing right now. And I remember listening, and there was a report that an airplane had hit one of the World Trade Center buildings in New York City. And as a 17-year-old, I didn't know what the World Trade Center buildings were. I didn't know that they were the iconic Twin Towers. I'm going to be honest. I'm a Midwestern girl born and raised in Edwardsville, Illinois. I didn't know what the Twin Towers were. If you would have shown me New York City, I would have noticed those buildings there, but I was young.
Right. You wouldn't have known what they were.
Mm-mm.
They were just two big skyscrapers in New York City.
Yeah, if somebody said World Trade Center, that wouldn't have meant anything to me. And the way that it was addressed on the air, if I'm correct, I was listening to Y98 on my way in, and it was perplexing the way the information was delivered. It was like, how does that happen? And the implication was, it seemed as though that it was like a prop plane, or by no means was it conveyed initially that the plane that you get on to go fly to Disney World or fly across the country, New York to LA or wherever it might be, that this was a commercial passenger
hijacked
plane. Yeah. And so about 7:45, it hit at 7:46, I think, our time. So it must have been, just around 8 o'clock that I heard that. And I go in, I hustle into school. I sit down in my first hour English class. Ironically, my teacher at the time's name was Mrs. Frey, because I was not Mrs. Frey at the time. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden our religion teacher, I went to a Lutheran high school in the area, our religion teacher and school counselor comes knocking on the door and requests Mrs. Frey to leave the room. And his face, he looked like a ghost. And she was like, I need to get to class here. I don't have a lot of, it was an honors English class. It was college prep. And she was all about getting it done. And she's like, the counselor said, no, you need to come out here. So they stood out in the hallway for probably 2-3 minutes. And then she walked back in the classroom and she said, students, I need you to close your books. And I need to tell you something right now. And she stood there in front of us and she said, an airplane has hit one of the World Trade Center buildings in New York City. It is understood that the likelihood of it being terrorism is strong. And we have reason to believe that we will endure more of these attacks across the country, potentially throughout the rest of the day. And I'm 17, and the way I like to describe the age I was on that morning, that was exactly like today, was the oldest you can be as a child and the youngest you can be as an adult. You're aware of what is happening, what you're getting into, but you don't know how to do any of it. It's like preschool for adults. You go into adulthood, and now somebody basically thinks you can put your foot in front of the other consistently without adult supervision from somebody else, and they kick you out of the nest and they say, go be a grown-up. But you don't know what you're doing. And when it comes to being in school, you're a senior in high school, and you're the one who's supposed to have the extra responsibility in the room. And it's a very confusing time. It's a very confusing age. And it's a very complicated age to sit there and have someone talk to you about terrorism. I didn't know what terrorism was. I didn't understand who a terrorist could be. It was something that I had heard about in the movies, but I didn't understand what it was. So we ended up moving through our English class, and the interesting thing for me as a 34-year-old now is to look back at that moment, sitting in that classroom, and to think about the teachers that I had and the understanding that being able to grasp what was taking place and being terrified and having to be in front of all of these children still and know that this was so out of their league to protect us from. After English class, I went to my pre-calculus class, and we were sitting there in math class, and the teacher was still teaching math, but he had, I think it was CNN, maybe it was Fox News, I don't remember, on the TV up in the front right of a classroom. And I was upset. A lot of the kids were upset. Other kids were confused. So he's teaching this math class, and up in the front right of the classroom is the coverage of the one tower, billowing smoke outside, papers flying outside, and we're just sitting here with our mouth hanging open, and I'm watching, and then the next plane hits the building. And I remember my teacher in math class, he had an eraser in his hand. He took the eraser. He was the football coach. He threw it at the board, and he just walked out of the room. He stepped out of the room because I don't know what it would be like to be the adult in the room at that situation. I think we all have faced moments as parents where something bad happens and you need to act entirely a different way than you feel. And those teachers did that for me that day. And we watched progressively through the day, we watched the buildings fall. And we knew that for the rest of our lives, it would be different. And we didn't even know how it would be different because we hadn't lived our own lives to an extent where we would be able to understand exactly what was changing. But we did know that everything was changing. And the thing that I think is so often overlooked when it comes to September 11th, of course, we recognize all of the people who served and gave their lives willfully, went into the buildings that day. As I think it's very compelling to look at the three situations that took place on September 11th. You had the World Trade Center, you have the Pentagon, and you have Flight 93. And I know it wasn't the intention of those terrorists that day. I know they weren't setting out to try to prove some point about America's greatness. What they thought that they were doing that day was crippling America's greatness, bringing it to a screeching halt. But they gave the world the opportunity to see the greatness that exists in America on all fronts. Because you had the police officers and the firefighters running into buildings, many of them knowing that they were not going to come out, and doing so in an effort to save lives, to save Americans, whether they were white or black or Asian or Middle Eastern or Mexican or whatever it might be. Those people went into these scenarios and pulled these people out, and they gave everything to protect that. We saw that at the World Trade Center and truly at the Pentagon too, but the Pentagon represents another element of greatness in our country, and that's the military. We often look to the flag as a representation of our military heroes, the ones who have died fighting to make sure that the flag still flies high in all scenarios in the United States of America. And the Pentagon, they attacked the Pentagon. That's our military. And our military is part of what makes our country great. So we saw the heroic efforts in the World Trade Center with the firefighters and the police officers, and we saw that as well in the Pentagon, and we saw the efforts of those in the military that were defending the Pentagon and fleeing the Pentagon. But the true greatness that we got to see on September 11th, in spite of all of the tragedy, in spite of everything that pointed to death, to destruction, to actual true hate for what we are as American people, we see on Flight 93. And when you think about that feeling, that emotion that must have existed on Flight 93, and there you have people who aren't special. They're not people who receive praise like we often give our military, and rightfully so. They're not acknowledged as people who signed up to sacrifice themselves, put themselves between you and danger as a police officer and a firefighter. They were people who got on a plane, who had somewhere to go, and they never made it there because they fought back. I think the true American spirit that rises from all of the ashes across the country on September 11th is really highlighted in those two words, let's roll. That's the American spirit. It's the American spirit that we need to remember when we're talking about Woodward books and Russian collusion and Colin Kaepernick and firefighters and police officers and black and white and woman and man and every single thing that divides us. The thing that they hated the most on September 11th was the fact that when it came down to it, none of that stuff mattered. None of it mattered. And the people on Flight 93 said, let's roll. And they took down a plane. They sacrificed themselves as just regular tax-paying Americans who were going to visit family on a flight, who were going on a business trip on a flight, who were relocating and going to be missing their family back at home, but knew that whatever was on the other end of that flight could have been a better life for them. That's what they got to do in this country. And that's what was attacked. And the unifying symbol of all of these locations, of all of these people, of all walks of life, religions, races, genders, ages, from somebody who's 17 years old sitting in a pre-calculus class in the heart of the country, watching those buildings fall to the ground, to the people who had to inspect the wreckage in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and all of us who remember those who were lost since then. The one unifying message and the one image that really strikes me every time I see it is the firefighters raising that flag over the wreckage, over the crumbling rocks and beams and destruction that existed there in New York City, raising that flag. And the truth is, whether we like it or not, that flag covers a multitude of sins, and it is the unifying symbol that we have to allow us to support one another in great times of tragedy, and also to completely and utterly disagree with one another on so many things that you don't get to do around the rest of the world. And that's what was attacked. And it is amazing that 17 years later, as a 34-year-old woman now, a mother of 3, still living in the heart of the country, the life that I've been able to build here in the wake of such a vicious attack, I pray to God that never happens again in this country. But September 12th and the unity that we saw on September 12th, it was about priorities. We had no choice but to value the things that were most important to us. And I pray that today on September 11th, we remember September 12th, and we work to value those very same things again. We will listen to some clips throughout the course of the show today. We will highlight this day as the tragic memory that we have from experiencing this, and make sure that if you live with people who don't know about this because they're not old enough, is 17 years ago. So you've got kids who are in high school, who are seniors in high school today, who may not have been around to experience this as something they can remember. It's history to them. And the key here is that we make sure that we show them all of the good that came out of that day in spite of all of the tragedy. We'll definitely continue to take phone calls on this and reflect on this day as we get to the highlights of the rest of the news of the day coming up next. So please, I encourage you to give us a call to talk about this important day. We are going to speak with some very special guests also throughout the course of the show, including the chief of the St. Louis Fire Department, Dennis Jenkerson, is going to call us and talk to us about what this day means to him, as well as Brandon Straka from the Walk Away Movement. He's got an announcement that he's made here recently. We're going to talk to him about that, and also the Show Me Institute. Dr. Susan Pendergrass is going to join us to talk to us about Bryce's Law and the effort to help children who have autism succeed in school, and how the Show Me State is working hard to make that a possibility. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Kenilwood Pet Resorts are the perfect place to take your pet if you need them to be taken care of while you're gone. If you're taking a trip and you need a night stay, or maybe it's a week, Kenilwood Pet Resorts will take care of your pet like you do. They have 8 locations conveniently located for you. You can go to kenilwood.com to find out more information about each one of those. They've been around since 1974, and they've been able to have such success because they truly care about the care of your pet. Their newest location there at Maryville, Illinois, is where I take my Rosie to, and they have a professionally trained staff that can provide 24-hour care 365 days a year. And the new Maryville location offers on-site boarding, grooming, training, and day camp. I've had Rosie's have her groomed at the Maryville Kenilwood location, and she always comes out looking perfect. The Maryville Pet Resort is located at 4967 State Route 159. You can contact any of the Kenilwood Pet Resorts by calling 314-429-2100. That's 314-429-2100 or online at kenilwood.com.
Don't miss the Cardinals and Dodgers at Busch Stadium the weekend of September 14th. There's great giveaways all series long. Friday night, fans will take home a replica of the 1928 jersey, courtesy of Old Dominion Freight Line. Saturday, the 2013 Mystery National League Ring Giveaway, presented by Edward Jones. Sunday wraps up the series with the Mark McGwire bobblehead, thanks to Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. September 14th, 15th, and 16th. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. There's only one, Cardinals Baseball.
Hey fans, this is Tony La Russa. On Sunday, September 16th, the Cardinals host the Dodgers, and it's the Mark McGwire bobblehead giveaway, presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. This bobblehead will commemorate the 20th anniversary of Big Mac's record-setting season, 1998, a year I'll never forget.
He's done it again! 70 home runs!
The Mark McGwire bobblehead on September 16th. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
Hey, Tim Jones here from my guys at Universal Windows Direct. You know if you need new windows. If your windows are moldy, ugly, fogged up, drafty, or worse, listen, winter's coming, and it's supposed to be a doozy. Don't suffer through one more winter in a cold, drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. They've got that patented foam super spacer technology created by NASA, creates a better seal than traditional metal spacers. Your windows are going to last longer. You save money on your energy bills. New windows from Universal will make your home more beautiful. Everyone's custom made for your home, from wood trim to premium vinyl, the added security of cam-style locks. It's like looking at a brand new home, all backed up by the true lifetime warranty, covered for as long as you own your home, plus 30 years to the next homeowner. For every window you buy, the next one's free. There's no limits, 0% financing for 36 months, all backed up by that true lifetime warranty. Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today. Call 314-878-0300. That's 314-878-0300, or go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. That's universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Wednesday, we'll talk about the Brett Kavanaugh vote with Missouri Senator Roy Blunt, plus the bottom line with Illinois congressional candidate Brendan Kelly.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence.
First couple of days were just gruesome. The realization that we lost that many people, the realization we weren't going to discover bodies,
well, everyone in the hospital waiting
that
for
was a shock. That was an absolute shock to me.
So we are reflecting on September 11th today. We're all varying ages here. Tony, your experience?
I was working for 1041 The Mall at the time, and I was doing nights, so my shift was from 6 to midnight. And the day before, on Monday, our afternoon drive person was off for whatever reason, and so I did afternoon drive and nights. So I was on the whole day basically on Monday, and so my program director, Rick Bayless, gave me the day off the next day. It was like, dude, pull a double on Monday and take Tuesday off. So I was sleeping in bed when my dad called. He tells me on the phone what happened, and my dad, it seemed like a weird joke or prank to be pulling, but my dad was a prankster, especially if he knew he could wake me up or mess with me or whatever. And the remote control to the TV in my bedroom was broken in my apartment. And so I was like, so I hang up the phone with him, and I'm like,
so you walked across the room.
Do I get out of bed and turn on the TV and see if he's telling the truth, or do I just go back to sleep? And I got out of bed, and I turned on the TV, and obviously was just shocked. You know,
There's no other word than shocked.
I was a news. Even then, I was a news geek, and so like just spent the whole day watching it, and then it was very interesting being on the air in the days following that. So yeah, we had a lot of the way we operated on the air changed dramatically, and yeah, so it was interesting.
I was off that day too. Your dad called you. My mom called me.
Yeah.
My mom called. She was working for the as a contractor for the Defense Mapping Agency down here in Arsenal. She gave me a call. She said, "Hey, you probably ought to turn on the TV.
Were your
Something's going on."
parents, both of you, were your parents distraught, or were they like, "Hey"?
Very matter of fact.
That's scary, parent.
Turn on the TV.
If you have ever been in a scenario where someone's had to deliver some really rough news to you, if you can tell when super matter of fact mom or dad comes in, they're all business, that's an intimidating thing to experience.
I think at the time when my dad called me, I think he knew that it was a big story, and because I was such a newsy person, he called me, but I don't think at the time, because he called me before the second plane hit the building.
Yeah.
It was before all that happened. And so
mine too.
I think
we were in that window of wow, that's just awful.
And the second plane hitting made your
made your stomach drop.
It made you sick because the first plane you're like, how does this happen? Oh my gosh,
like,
this
that's
is
a big
terrible.
Building. How do you miss it?
And you're starting to think about what could be. The second plane hits, you know.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know in that very moment exactly what happens, but you have no idea what happens.
Yeah, so when he called me and we did the first time, we wasn't even sure yet. It wasn't even like this is a big deal yet. It was just interesting, like something's happening, and then everything changed.
I was in third grade.
Do you remember
it? Vaguely, I do remember it. I remember getting out of school early and coming home off the bus, and I remember my mom was home from work, and I thought that was very strange that she got off that early. And I have an older brother and sister, and they were young at the time as well. And so I just remember the whole day just being chaos and disheveled, and everyone watching the TV and glued to the TV. And school-wise, I know that we let off early that day. But
really?
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I know I went home. I thought everything was very strange, and my parents were glued to the TV, and so were my siblings. So it was just a very weird time.
My apartment at the time was right across the street from the airport.
Oh, so that must have been a really...
So living there, you hear the planes so often that
you don't even hear them.
You don't even hear them. But when they stop...
The stillness.
The quiet was eerie. And it was like that for days. And like all of a sudden, everything was just so quiet. And you didn't even realize you were just used to hearing these planes, 24 hours a day.
See jet
flying
trails
over.
or whatever.
Yeah. And suddenly it was quiet, and you'd drive by the airport because I live right by it, and all the planes are just sitting on, in the runways and stuff. It was Gosh, it was eerie.
We're gonna
eerie.
We're gonna keep talking about this. We're gonna move our highlight segment to the 1 o'clock hour. One of the things that is so burned into my memory was feeling stunned, and stunned in a way where you you feel blank because you don't know where to go, and all of the people, as a 17-year-old, all the people who you look to guide you in emotion, in where you are on the, I am in freak out mode here, and hey, everything's gonna be fine. We know how to handle this. You get people saying this could be worse than Pearl Harbor. And as a student who has taken American history the year before,
right.
I'm like, Pearl Harbor's the thing.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor is the point in American history where we took the biggest punch. And here we are facing this.
Taking a bigger punch.
And watching, in that moment, people make the decision to die from a falling death over a burning death. I was scrolling through Twitter last night, and somebody had tweeted one of the images of one of the falling men. And I showed it to my husband. I said, would you do that? Would you make that decision? And he goes, I don't know. I go, why would you do this? And then we had to sit there and think about it. And the alternative, I was in tears just thinking about it last night, because this isn't something that we have grown romantic over in American history. You can look at things from Pearl Harbor. We didn't experience that. My grandfather fought in World War II and could tell stories. He wasn't in Hawaii, but he was in the Pacific Theater. He would tell stories about what it was like at that time, but we didn't consume it the way we consume 9/11. We watched it happen.
I'd say it's opposite of romanticizing. I would say we've grown callous to it, and it doesn't have the impact that it probably should still have to this day. The one thing that I'll never forget is the immediate weeks afterward, and how just nothing, politics didn't matter. Everybody came together.
We were numb together.
Everybody was on the same team.
I think every generation has that moment. And in our window of time, it's this moment. 50 years ago, the window in time was the JFK assassination. 20 years before that was Pearl Harbor. Everybody has that moment of where were you, when were you, what did you learn?
Challenger.
And Challenger, obviously in between there. So you've got that moment in time where you remember vividly the weather outside for whatever reason. You can't remember.
On September 11th, on a Tuesday.
Anything else, but you remember going outside and thinking, boy, what a beautiful day. And it sticks with you.
It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day in New York that day, too.
Yes.
It was a great day in Dallas.
Crystal clear sky. And it's hard to look at those images. It's very difficult to consume. Like, I see the picture of the falling man, and I go, we should
Still unidentified.
Yeah.
Isn't that
It's
crazy?
crazy. I see it and I'm like, we shouldn't be gawking at this. But then I think maybe we should. I'm conflicted when I see these images that people are putting out or remembering, and they're horrifying. Because if you stop and you look at that image for 10 seconds and you process that is somebody's father, that is somebody's son, that is somebody's roommate, whatever it might be, that happened to that person.
Process what you're looking at.
And it's real. There's nothing more real than that. And there is something there that is part of the American fabric for the rest of its existence that is easy to lose on May 11th.
Right.
And then on September 11th, we all about face and we all think, and it's tragic. When you watch the videos, when you hear the songs, you get goosebumps because you remember that day, but we work so hard to not have to think about it the rest of the time. It's almost like I want to immerse myself in it so it sticks longer, and so that we understand the impact of the people who I hear this frequently. The people who are my age, they're millennials, but I was 17, and the kids who graduated there with me that year were 18 when they graduated, and they signed up. And they fought in wars just like generations before them. They fought in wars to protect the United States from whatever it needed protecting from. And whether you agree with what took place overseas or not, they signed up. And they are millennials, and they are great.
This is funny, and it just shows you how much everybody came together afterwards. So at that time on that radio station, I was doing a Saturday night. Every Saturday night, I was doing a live broadcast from a nightclub, and the music in the club was what we were broadcasting on the air, and the microphone that was talking to the nightclub was also what was going on the air. And the people who own the night, we discussed, do we even do this dance club broadcast? Do we even do this nightclub broadcast?
Yeah.
We decided to do it. And then in the middle of it, they decided to do a moment of silence. The people who own the club wanted to do a moment of silence. So we did it in the club and on the air, obviously. And then afterwards, in the days following, I had people coming up to me. Like one person came up to me and said, I was at a bowling alley on Saturday night, and they were playing your radio station from the nightclub. And when you guys did the moment of silence, the whole bowling alley stopped and observed the moment of silence with you. Like we were background music in a bowling alley, and that's how much everybody came. That's how much everybody was listening to everything, and everybody was in solidarity with each other.
And it would be the same today, I believe it happened. I'm going to take a super quick break and get back to a very special guest. Very excited to have the St. Louis Fire Chief, Dennis Jenkerson, on with us. He will be with us in just a quick second. Stay tuned. A lot more reflection today, and we will get to the news of the day as well. But it's an important day, and we're going to remember that. Don't go anywhere.
I've come to talk with you again.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Remember the great day of weather we had yesterday? Let's do it again on this Tuesday. Lots of sunshine, nice. It's comfortable. Low humidity levels, the high near 80 degrees. Tonight, clear and cool. 58 for the overnight low. Wednesday and Thursday, more of the same. Lots of sunshine and nice. 82 Wednesday, and again on Thursday, about 85 degrees on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers water heater, duct sealing, and attic insulation services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
When it comes to being in your comfort zone, September is one of those funny St. Louis months. It's hot, it's cold, whatever it is, you need to make sure that your HVAC system is ready to roll whenever you need it to. If it's going to be 40 degrees one night, you're going to want to keep yourself comfortable. You're going to keep your family members comfortable. You need Air Comfort Service right there, making sure that your system is going to be fully functional. They have 0% financing right now, so make sure your home feels comfortable, and there's no excuse because you can go to Air Comfort Service and take advantage of that 0% financing for up to 72 months. You can call them, and you can go online at any time at aircomfortservice.com to find out more about their company, about their A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, how they've won the Carrier's Dealer of the Year and President's Award. And you can read some of their 1,800 online reviews. If you need a little bit more persuasion when it comes to choosing your heating and air conditioning company, Air Comfort Service has 1,800 plus reviews that will do just that for you. Don't waste another minute. Go online, check them out at aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Summer is coming to a close, but that doesn't mean that the home buying season is over. We are still pre-approving borrowers in record numbers. There's still a lot of homes hitting the market, and the competition is fierce. Don't lose the home of your dreams by working with the wrong mortgage lender. Work with the best and get pre-approved for your new home purchase 7 days a week till 10 p.m. at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, is a serious disorder that limits airflow during sleep. OSA can cause a person to repeatedly stop breathing for a minute or longer. I'm Dr. Joe Oja with the Clayton Sleep Institute. Untreated sleep apnea can have serious and life-shortening consequences. If you have or think you have OSA, we can help. Call 314-645-5855 or visit ClaytonSleep.com. Clayton Sleep Institute. Better sleep, better life.
This is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate in the Metro East. We sell a house every 30 hours. Buying a home is a big decision and a big investment. It's where your child will take their first steps. It's where you will plant your first garden. It's where your family will enjoy Christmas mornings. Your new home is a place to go to escape the world. It's your home and your memories start here. Let us help you get there. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling presents the 97.1 Salute to Service. 99% of Americans wake up and enjoy freedom. Only 1% wake up and defend it. Join us as we celebrate the 1% and highlight the impact of the servicemen and women in our community. We'll explore stories of active military and veterans told by the heroes themselves and the people behind them. Right now, you can nominate yourself, friend, or family member to receive the 97.1 Salute to Service. Get all the details at 971talk.com/salute. The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show.
This hour brought to you by the Rick and Tracy Ellis Real Estate Team. Heard right here on 97.1, Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 10. Visit TracyEllis.com.
Sleep tonight.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And may your dreams be realized.
America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world. And no one will keep that light from shining. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature. And we responded with the best of America, with the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help in any way they could. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful, and it's prepared.
Joining us now is the chief of the St. Louis Fire Department, Dennis Jankerson. Been the chief of the fire department since November of 2007. Chief, it's such a pleasure to have you on today on this special day, and just to get your thoughts on what this means as somebody who's serving the folks of St. Louis right now. What does a day like today represent for you?
Well, first of all, good afternoon. It's one of those days that I guess the fire department, from the fire service perspective, we think about daily. It's not that we wait till September 11th each year to, kind of think about it. There's always something that happens every day that we work, and, that reminds us of what we do and what happened 17 years ago. So for the fire service, we all lost people that we had trained with, possibly worked with, and it was the fire department's a very unique brotherhood, and it's hard to describe to somebody who's not in the service, but we lost brothers that day, we lost sisters that day. And every day with across the country, all the fire departments, there's a chance that can happen every day we work because of the service we provide. So it's. We get a little bit more, thoughtful on 9/11 each year, but I would say throughout the year, it's never far from our minds. We're always thinking about it.
You're a third-generation firefighter. You've been serving for decades. What has your experience over the course of time? You've been a firefighter, fire captain, battalion chief, certified in many different responsibilities that would exist in any of those capacities. From someone who was maybe a brand new firefighter to being the chief of the St. Louis Fire Department, how has your reflection on the job of the firefighter, the person who leaves their home, leaves their mother, their wife, their husband, their children, and goes to the firehouse and doesn't know what they're going to get into, how has that developed as you've grown into a leadership role?
that's not only a tough question, that is just a brutal question. You know, from the day you come on as a firefighter, as a rookie, you know, I guess people get into it for different reasons, but you know, you look. First of all, it is a job. It's a good job. It's a good career. People stay around for a long time. But as a new firefighter, you're in there trying to prove to the other firefighters in the station, on your company, or at a house fire or at an accident, that you have what it takes to do this job. And some people think they have what it takes, and some people don't. They just don't make it, you know, for whatever reason. As you progress through your career, get into different positions within the fire service, as you make it into like the chief level ranks, the battalion chiefs, the deputy chiefs, the chief officer of a large department, your focus changes quite dramatically. You get into a position where you're thinking, you know, a simple house fire that you've got a report of, say, children trapped in. You know, and all these firefighters are diving into this building because that's what they do. They're trying to save this one precious life. You know, in the back of your mind, as one of the chief officers, you want to make sure these firefighters go home at the end of the day, and don't go home severely, you know, burned or injured or, you know, with broken bones. You want to make sure they get home to their families also. So, you know, your priorities go up and down and back and forth based on every incident. But, you know, for the most part, it's firefighters are willing to take the risk every day to provide for the public safety, and that's what we do. And believe me, it's not for everybody. It's not, you know, and there's some days you don't do anything. There's some days you sit around the firehouse and you clean the trucks and, you know, clean the floors, keep the house clean. You do some study and you do some reading, some education, but, you know, there are some boring days. But unfortunately, in the city of St. Louis, there aren't too many of those.
Yeah, you look forward to the boring days, I'm sure.
Yes, I do.
When you speak about the brotherhood, after this happened, and New York City lost so many firefighters and police officers too, the country rallied around them. The firefighters in the United States rallied around New York City. A lot of firefighters went to New York City to fill the void because, like you said, those house fires that occurred, those didn't stop in the wake of 9/11 when so much was sacrificed that day. There was still a job to do throughout the course of the city there. That really speaks to that brotherhood.
Absolutely. And, you know, we have that same type brotherhood here in the St. Louis area. If we have a large fire going, or, you know, a couple of years ago we lost a firefighter, and the other fire departments around us come in and help us. And the same thing happens if in the county or one of the smaller departments need our assistance. It's automatic. I mean, the phone doesn't even have to be picked up. People just show up, day on or day off, and that's what's so unique about the fire service and the brotherhood of what we do. It's like you said, this is all I've known. I'm a third generation firefighter. I didn't want to be a firefighter at first, only because, you know, I saw my grandfather who died in the line of duty, you know, from a severe injury, and I thought, nah, I can't do this job. But, you know, it gets to you, and it's a very unique career, very unique. You have very strange relationships with the fire service. It's just, you do everything you possibly can to help another firefighter.
Well, Chief of the St. Louis Fire Department, Dennis Jenkerson, we wanted to have you on today. It is a lofty task, but we wanted you to speak on behalf of those firefighters that we lost 17 years ago. You have a wife, you have children. You're just like the rest of us, but you are leading the fire department here in St. Louis, and you don't hear this enough, I'm sure, but we're grateful for that, and thank you so much for giving us some time today.
I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye. It's very nice to talk to the fire chief there for the city of St. Louis. These people are risking their lives for our lives. You may never know the person who comes into your scenario, if it's a car, if it's a house, whatever it might be. But Dennis Jenkerson there talking about this. We're going to get to the headlines of the day, more reflection on 9/11 as the show goes on. We'll be right back.
This is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate in the Metro East. We sell a house every 30 hours. Buying a home is a big decision and a big investment. It's where your child will take their first steps. It's where you will plant your first garden. It's where your family will enjoy Christmas mornings. Your new home is a place to go to escape the world. It's your home, and your memories start here. Let us help you get there. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Imagine living with an intellectual or developmental disability and relying on a caregiver or a family member for your survival. Now, imagine being sexually abused by that same caregiver or family member, or even by a complete stranger. It's happening, and we can stop it. If you know of or suspect that someone with a disability is being abused, neglected, or exploited, please report it by calling 800-392-0210 or by visiting www.andwecanstopit.org. Sponsored by Missouri Developmental Disabilities Council and the Arc of Missouri.
Imagine 5 or 10 years from now finding out that you could have had more money saved for retirement if you had simply taken the time to work toward ensuring your portfolio was tax efficient. That extra vacation you could have taken, or maybe even retiring earlier than you thought possible. We've all heard about the Trump tax changes, but do you know what it means for you? Call Heisey Advisory Group today at 314-909-1116 and register for our upcoming no-cost live tax class on September 27th at Umsel West County Center at 6 p.m. We can help show you how your taxes might be affected by the Trump tax change today and in retirement. Be diligent when planning. Work toward minimizing the effect Washington has on your retirement. Call now and get registered at 314-909-1116.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Heisey Advisory Group are not affiliated companies.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Download the app or text SKILL to 484848. Text SKILL to 484848 to try Babbel for free. That's SKILL to 484848.
I'm Jim Evinger, CEO of Renew Sleep Solutions. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery? The Renew Sleep System is the FDA-cleared, compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. Many have already met their deductible for the year, so there may be little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000. Or go to renewsleep.com.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-262-2917. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-262-2917 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-262-2917 to see if you qualify. That's 800-262-2917.
There's a big red barn where you save green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A radio.com station.
Hurricane Florence gets even bigger. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The latest advisory just in, also saying the storm is getting better organized. Still a Category 4 as more of the East Coast prepares for possible effects. The D.C. mayor just declaring a state of emergency. The center of Florence, though, still appears to be heading straight for the Carolinas. North Carolina's governor urging people not to bet their lives on riding it out. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, right now, areas like Wilmington, the Marine Base at Camp Lejeune, and especially the Outer Banks are watching Florence to see where she goes. Governor Roy Cooper says the time to take action is now.
That's why I'm ordering a mandatory state evacuation for our barrier islands.
But he says areas inland are not out of danger because the remnants will likely stall over the state.
Rain in some places will be measured in feet, not inches.
And Governor Cooper says the White House has granted a disaster declaration that will bring in federal recovery help after this storm hits, Lisa.
Thanks, Colonel. President Trump, meantime, also granting South Carolina's request for a disaster declaration and says the federal government is absolutely, totally prepared for Florence. He briefed reporters on his way back to the White House from the 9/11 memorial ceremony in Pennsylvania, where Flight 93 went down. At the Pentagon ceremony,
we keep faith with the innocent who perished. We take solace in their deaths were not in vain.
Defense Secretary Jim Mattis.
And we remember that hatred disguised in false religious garb to murder innocents will not prevail.
Nearly 3,000 people killed in the attacks 17 years ago today. A bell tolling during New York's annual ceremony to mark the time of each plane's attack and the times the Twin Towers fell. Fox News, fair and balanced.
No holds barred talk, can't miss documentaries, specials, and more. Plus, your favorite Fox News personalities. This is our time, and this is going to be our place. Fox Nation, coming soon. Sign up for updates and be the first to know. Go to foxnation.com now. The Fox News Rundown is a weekly morning podcast that dives deep into the major and controversial stories of the day. Hosted by the anchors of Fox News Radio. Subscribe now to hear a perspective of news you won't find anywhere else. Find it now on foxnewspodcasts.com. Tucker Carlson.
There's just so much barking and noise and yelling. Our role is to take 3 steps back and discern what really matters.
Sean Hannity.
The most important thing that we do, we are looking out for the forgotten men and women in this country.
Laura Ingraham.
They're going to get a straight shooter, no holds barred. I'm not going to cut people slack.
Fox is the one place where dissent is allowed.
We have voices. We won't be silent.
Who controls my voice? Nobody.
Fox News Channel. Real news, real honest opinion.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. The operators of a Missouri duck boat that sank in July, killing 17 people, say in a court filing that a lawsuit from Missouri's Attorney General is irresponsible and, quote, littered with factual inaccuracies and innuendo, unquote. The lawsuit accuses Branson Duck Vehicles and Ripley Entertainment, Inc. of violating Missouri's consumer protection law and putting profits above safety. President Donald Trump has canceled a campaign rally in Missouri as a potentially catastrophic hurricane nears the East Coast. The president announced today that he's canceling his planned visit to Cape Girardeau on Thursday. His campaign says that it's the safest decision in light of the approaching hurricane. Hurricane Florence is expected to hit the East Coast early Friday morning. This news update brought to you by Mattress Direct. Don't forget, FM News Talk 97.1 is now available on radio.com. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire? Are you worried that you won't have enough income in retirement to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you also wondering how the stock market will affect your current retirement plans? This is Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'd like to show you the kind of income your retirement accounts can provide, whether you're retiring now or even in the next 5 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation financial review. We'll build your own personalized, structured income plan that will show you exactly the type of retirement you can count on. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees achieve a worry-free retirement for 31 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or visit us online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Mark Cox here. Summer is almost over, and it's the perfect time to get your house protected with the permanent exterior ceramic coating Rhino Shield. I've got Rhino Shield on my house. I've had it for 10 years now. It looks as good as the day they put it on. Right now is a great time because you can save 25% off the cost of Rhino Shield as a late summer special. Be sure and call them at 877-25-RHINO. Schedule your appointment today. They'll give you a free estimate. You get a 25-year transferable warranty, guaranteed not to chip, crack, or peel. It bonds completely to whatever's on the outside of your house. It was already more affordable than you think. Now you get 25% off. Don't blow it. Call 877-25-RHINO or go to their website at 877-25rhino.com and take advantage of this late summer special.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity, and at night being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We remember the bravery and sacrifice of those who fell here in America and then on far-flung battlefields. We salute the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines who nailed our colors to the mast, giving their last full measure of devotion, declaring proudly that Americans do not scare. And we followed to the end of the earth those who sought to break our spirit. Together with the families of the fallen, we remember all that is good, all that is true, and all that is beautiful about those we have lost.
General Mattis reflecting on today, September 11th, and we're going to get to some news here right before we do that. I want to take a phone call. Jim, thanks for calling the show. You've been holding for a while. I wanted to make sure we got you on.
Yeah, thanks, Annie. I just wanted to mention a friend of mine, Richie Salinardi. He's from Florissant. He died in the South Tower, I believe it was, on 9/11. And just wanted to mention his name. He was a nice guy, and he would have been about 32, I believe, when he was in the tower there and died.
Well, Jim, thank you for calling in and sharing his name with us. We remember Richie and many of the other people whose names we won't ever know. But it's good to remember your friend. We're glad we had the opportunity to do that here.
Thanks. And I'd also like to say one more thing, if I could.
Sure.
How anyone can vote Democratic for president, especially, is beyond me, because open borders and they want to raise your taxes. it'll never happen again for me. So I just got to let that out there.
Yeah.
Don't vote Democrat because they're clueless.
Jim,
So that's all I want to say.
Appreciate the phone call and the remembrance of your friend Richie and your sentiment there. That for sure is. It's really crazy to think about all of these people as actual individual, almost 3,000 lives that are. Each of those people were something very important to somebody else, and to us, it's a list of names that we don't know. We won't ever know them, but it's important to recognize the ones that we do. Let's get to some news.
Now, let's get to the highlights.
In a story that started to break yesterday and continues to make news today, newly released text messages show anti-Trump FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page discussing a media leak strategy. The president responded with a tweet today that says, new Strzok-Page texts reveal media leak strategy. So terrible and nothing is being done at DOJ or FBI, but the world is watching and they get it completely. So we'll keep an eye on this. The interesting thing here is that Peter Strzok's lawyer has said that when they were discussing a media leak strategy, they meant on how to stop media leaks. Although they have other tweets from Peter Strzok praising different issues, different times where
the timeline between the
leaks
initial
to the media were made. So
tweet that we're discussing about the media leak strategy, and then there's a break, and then there's some stuff that was leaked, and then there's a congratulations.
And then there's like a great job on leaking that stuff.
I
But
thought-
we meant we were stopping the leaks. So we'll keep an eye on that. But
Yeah.
it just gets nuttier and
Another
nuttier.
page in the chapter.
Yeah.
The Bueno Mojo salsa is hitting store shelves on Thursday. The salsa
Yum.
that Matt Carpenter put together with Adam Wainwright's tomatoes and sparked a resurgence in Carpenter's bat will be on Schnucks shelves beginning on Thursday of this week. And the proceeds, some of those will go to Cardinals Care.
Good.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Nancy Pelosi has said she will seek to retain her position as leader of the House Democrats as long as Donald Trump is in power. She told CNN that while it's time for new blood in her party, she also thinks it's a gamble in the current political climate for her not to be at the negotiating table. She's quoted saying, if Hillary Clinton had won and the Affordable Care Act was protected, I feel very proprietary about that. I was happy it went my way. She added, it's up to the caucus to determine who leads her party. But we have no women at the table, and to have no women at the table and to have the Affordable Care Act at risk, I have to say, as long as Trump's here, I'm here.
It's a threat.
She's just the worst.
It's a threat.
Matt Adams has been hitting the salsa. He hit another home run last night, a 3-run shot for the Cardinals. They won 8-7 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. They overcame deficits of 4-0 and 6-4. Now 2 games ahead of the Dodgers in that wild card chase for the second spot in the National League. Carlos Martinez, his third save in as many chances. Adam Wainwright, the tomatoes that supplied the salsa. He started for the first time since May 13th. The Cardinals are now 33-18 under Mike Schilt. He took over for Mike Matheny on July 15th. Cardinals and the Pirates again this evening. Mike Mikolas back on the mound tonight for the Cardinals.
Michaelis is such a weird name.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like it should be Michaelis.
We've had some weird names.
Yeah.
We got another one, DeYoung, right now,
Yeah.
which doesn't look like the way it's supposed
DeJong.
to be. Zipchinski, which was always my favorite.
Yeah.
We've had some. Yeah. His name.
There's a Y in
his
there.
name started like on his left tricep and ended on his right tricep.
Yeah. The Cardinals
And then
are
you
fun
had
to watch.
O.
Yeah, exactly. It balances everything out. I like when the Cardinals are playing a 7:00 game. It's nice because I get to sit at home and I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm reading Facebook messages from the show page and stuff. So it's an opportunity for me to like sit down and communicate with people and just kind of weigh in on the news of the day. And you know, this Cardinals team right now is fun to watch and unpredictable, but it's better than sucking. So
Yeah,
it's exciting.
It's all. If you're in a race for the postseason this time of year,
Yeah.
it's all you can ask for.
If you're in it in September, be very grateful for that.
Yep, that's right.
So the story that Tony was talking about, these Strzok-Page, it really irks me that Lisa Page and Carter Page have the same last name. As if this isn't confusing enough.
Right.
You've got Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who are also lovers, both working in the FBI. And they're texting back and forth. And every time I think about them being lovers, I always think of Trey Gowdy going, "Your coworker." It's so Trey Gowdy when Strzok was having that testimony. But
you told him to F himself.
Yeah.
My favorite Trey Gowdy line of all time.
And there are a lot of good
floor
ones.
of the Capitol.
Peter Strzok says, "I had literally just gone to find this phone." He's talking to Lisa Page. "I had literally just gone to find this phone to tell you I want to talk to you about media leak strategy with DOJ before you go." That's what Peter Strzok is saying to Lisa Page. 2 days later, Peter Strzok wrote, "Well done, Page," and told her that 2 negative articles about Page's, and this is Carter Page, 2 negative articles about Carter Page's namesake would soon come out. That was an apparent reference to Carter Page.
Yeah, her namesake. It was his little clever way of referencing Carter Page. He would say to her, "Your namesake," because, like you said, her name is Lisa Page. And so that was his little cute way of saying whenever he was talking in these texts about Carter Page, he would refer to it as her namesake.
So you have these 2 things going back and forth. And the frustrating thing here is you can be presented with these text messages and you can do it you could take the same page and you can put it in the book of, obviously they colluded to throw Trump under the bus. Obviously, the DOJ was working overtime to make sure that Donald Trump was never going to be the president. And if he was, they were going to have this thing in the bag that they were going to unleash to make sure that he wouldn't remain the president. But you have the Strzok attorney coming out now saying, "Oh, no, this was to address media leaks. The media leak strategy."
Yeah, we're going to try to stop them.
I could see that.
Just ignore all these other texts you're looking at.
But I'm looking at the whole body of evidence as we have it right now.
You're supposed to ignore that.
Shoot. Well, this segment just got shorter. Never mind. Pay no attention
His
to the man
attorney
behind the
does
curtain.
not want you to look at those.
There's so much pointing in this case with the Peter Strzok communication that is uncovered. We have the so far it seems like the commitment from President Trump that he's going to declassify a lot of these documents. What's that going to do when these get declassified and they are now out there? I mean, maybe after he declassifies them, he can give them to Cory Booker, and Cory Booker can
have another.
I'm going to tell you what's in these. Yeah. If you go to the Facebook page, speaking of killing time last night while I was watching the Cardinals, there's just really the internet is fun and amazing, and there's some funny memes out there, and there's a Cory Booker trying to steal free refills. It's kind of funny. And a Nike.
Can you
meme.
imagine how many Cory Booker memes there would be if he was a Republican?
Oh my gosh, they'd be much more hateful
everywhere.
They'd be much more hateful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's funny. Like I like to think, and I'll say this, and people who will call and tell me, like the one person who tells me that my biceps must be huge from all the water that I carried from President Trump. I can laugh at things that are funny, and if it's not politically advantageous to me, I can still recognize something when it's funny.
Yeah.
The Cory Booker thing is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's laughable and hilarious.
It was also hilarious to watch the other senators. I'm drawing a blank on the senator from Hawaii, but she did it immediately, and there were others too that were like, "Well, I'll break the rules too."
Dick Durbin.
I'll break the rules too.
I'll be right there with him.
Yeah. I have these. I'll give these to somebody if it'll get me in trouble. I'm not afraid either. It's like, oh my God, you guys are so.
I went in on
it's
some
so
of that.
obvious.
It's very frustrating, and it's very funny, and we are anticipating the Kavanaugh appointment to be the week of September 24th. So we will circle back to that news story in a couple of weeks, and then there will be meltdown, and then it'll be October, which will be the month preceding the actual election. So it's full throttle. The news right now is on such a fast pace, and the truth of it is, the stuff that we're talking about isn't even the important news that's taking place in the world. You have a lot of action going on right now in Syria, Palestine, Russia, North Korea, Iran. There are a lot of things taking place right now that are very important that aren't sexy enough to talk about because everybody wants to talk about Donald Trump. And I'll be the first to say Donald Trump has done a lot to make sure that that's the case. Donald Trump is often the one who brings the spotlight back to him with a tweet, because as soon as he tweets something, it sends all the dogs over to the fresh meat that he just tossed out there, and then it reshapes the news cycle. But I was reading an article, Town Hall published it, and it was written by Dennis Prager. And the article was really well put together because the point was, how is the president of the United States supposed to be a role model? Is there a responsibility for the president of the United States to be a role model for your children? Which I find interesting, and because I get that on this show. Mm-hmm. I haven't lately, since I kind of called it out, but I'd imagine there will be people who will still do that who maybe didn't hear me say that the first time. But
what if it was your kids, Annie?
Yeah. Here's what I have to say. And Dennis Prager said this very well in this Town Hall article. He said, and after we speak with the fire chief here in St. Louis, and we remember the police officers, the firefighters who sacrificed themselves to save other people's lives 17 years ago, if your house is burning down and somebody bursts in your door to save your life, or to save your loved one's life, or to save your dog, or to save whatever it is, put the fire out as quickly as they possibly can to minimize damage. At that point in time, how much do you care about how upstanding that individual is as a person? Or are you mostly concerned, and almost only concerned, with how well they can put out the fire? And Donald Trump was elected to put out the fire. Donald Trump was handed the keys to the Oval Office so that he could right the wrongs, not just of President Obama. The big government has been a problem in this country for decades. Back to FDR. We've gotten it way outside of what our initial purpose was as a country that was about we the people, and expanded government to increase reliance on government. That's what we're supposed to be the opposite of. And Donald Trump was a rebuke of a controlled message that didn't speak on behalf of the people, and a controlled media that didn't serve as the watchdog for the media. So you don't need to spend any time arguing with somebody about the upstanding character of Donald Trump, because I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not telling my children, look at this fine man and what a wonderful example he is to you of who you should grow up to be. It's never even crossed my mind. I didn't think that for President Obama, and I think that Barack Obama, don't hate me, was a good man. I think he was a good father. I think he is a good father. I think he seems very much so like he's a good husband. I hate his policies. I hate his politics.
You want to raise your kids, Annie?
No, because I'm raising my children and my husband is raising my children. That's the point. George W. Bush was an alcoholic. I guess he is an alcoholic, right? He is famously a drinker. And went through the process.
Famously did some other things too as a younger man.
He smoked weed a lot. That was something that he said he did. I don't know if there was anything more, but there's not like a perfect individual.
Allegedly.
Do I need to go into the history of Bill Clinton? There's lots of history that exists with all these men. They're all flawed, but they're human, so of course they are. I'm flawed. We're all flawed. His job is to be the president of the United States. It's my husband's job to be the father and the role model. And he's doing a pretty good job. So I'm not looking to the president to do this, but I am looking to him to be the best damn president of the United States that he possibly can be. And I'm very confident in my vote for him in 2016 that he is the best thing that could have happened to America in the year 2016 and going forward. So that whole idea of a role model for your children, that is a sideshow. You hate his politics. Just say it. Just admit it. You hate his conservative politics. Let's discuss that. Because you can tell me what policies you are for. I will tell you what policies I am for. We'll see if there's anywhere we meet in the middle. And if there's not, we'll agree to disagree. But it's really that simple. This idea of the president needing to be a fine role model for your children. It's nonsense, and it's a diversion. So don't fall for it. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Or toll free at 866-455-9797. Just a heads up, we are powered down or some sort of technical nonsense that I don't understand right now. So if you've had a little bit of trouble picking us up, know that we are also on FM 98.7 and AM 1490. You can tune in to us there. Maybe you receive those signals also at radio.com. We're streaming live all the time. Podcasts available there as well. So 98.7 FM and also 1490 AM. You can tune us in there if you're having some struggle to get us tuned in today, but we should be back to normal very quickly. So just hang in there with us. There's no collusion, interference of any nefarious nature, but we're working on it for you. So stay tuned. A lot more Annie Frey Show headed your way.
Dreams, I'm dying all the time. Then I wake, it's colliding.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Dependable weather.
A pleasant start out the door this morning.
With Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service. Get 0% financing for 12 to 72 months on a new AC or HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Dentistry with TLC and Dr. Anna Smith understand that you have a busy schedule. They know that sometimes dental needs, they kind of come up on you. You don't know that it's going to happen. You can't schedule it in advance, but you need care and you need it quickly. That's why they say call before 10 a.m. They'll get you in that day. And if you can't get in that day, they give you a $50 credit to use at your appointment. So if you call before 10 a.m., they'll get you in that day. Otherwise, they can get you in the next day for sure. Make sure that you call 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733 to reach Dr. Anna Smith at Dentistry with TLC to make sure that you get your dental care taken care of. Also, if you don't have dental insurance, that's no problem. She is prepared for you. She understands not everybody has dental insurance opportunities, and she doesn't want that to be a hindrance to you for your dental care. So check out her TLC Care Plan. For only $19 a month, it includes 2 cleanings a year with x-rays and exams. The TLC Care Plan patients also receive 15% off everything in her office. This includes braces, surgery, veneers, whitening. There are no exceptions. Again, call or text at 618-466-0733 or visit them online at dentistrywithtlc.com.
If you're having payroll tax problems, the IRS can and will come to your business and shut it down. Hi, this is Lance Drury, and I'm an experienced tax attorney based right here in St. Louis. Look, the IRS takes payroll tax issues very seriously, and penalties are extremely high. As a business owner, you can be held personally responsible, so shutting your business down will not protect you. Call my office and set up a free confidential appointment today. I have over 12 years of extensive experience dealing with the IRS and payroll tax issues, and I can help you resolve your problems quickly. Remember, if you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems. You need an attorney who specializes in tax law. You need me, Lance Drury. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
In Missouri, back when Claire McCaskill wanted our vote, she said she was against amnesty for illegal immigrants.
I have never said I was for amnesty, ever. I do not believe amnesty is the right way to go on immigration.
But once in Washington, McCaskill joined the liberals for granting amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants without border protections in place. And again, McCaskill sided with Washington liberals protecting sanctuary cities like San Francisco, havens for dangerous illegal immigrant criminals, promising one thing to get our vote and doing the opposite in Washington. After 12 years in the Senate, it's clear Claire McCaskill's gone Washington and left Missouri behind. It's time to retire Claire McCaskill. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The news that's now.
Hurricane Florence, state of Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Maryland.
Concise and current.
Never forget this day 17 years ago.
Remember when this recovery started?
Actually incorrect.
FM News Talk 97.1.
I closed both locks below the window.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Sometimes goodbye's the only way. Oh, and the sun will set.
I thought the first day we were going to save a lot of people. Well, we ended up saving whatever we saved in those first couple hours. That was it.
When you think about the impact of 9/11 from our seats, wherever you were in St. Louis, Missouri, or if you were in the Midwest or whatever, it is a different experience if you lived it. And Rudy Giuliani, there, talking about how he would have thought there would have been some serious amount of triage that would have been taking place. And I got a message here from Terry on our Facebook page. So make sure you go like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. He said, I was 25 on 9/11. One of the saddest things I saw on 9/11 took place that evening when the news showed all the medical staff standing outside of hospitals in New York City waiting for rescued trapped survivors to be dropped off. Nobody showed up. Everyone was dead. And there's, when you think that there's going to be this purge of people out of these towers, as somebody who works in a hospital, you would be going into, you do these drills. I'm sure there are all sorts of different types of drills to prepare yourself for an immediate onslaught of a bunch of different people at one time. So this would be that on steroids. And, I'm sure a lot of them came from being in the streets and the smoke inhalation and the debris inhalation that was a problem for a lot of people. The people who have, Jon Stewart is very active in bringing attention to people who have suffered the after effects of 9/11.
Yeah.
And making sure that we aren't forgetting those people too. They weren't crushed in the tower, but they were affected by...
Yeah, many of the firefighters, first responders, victims of 9/11, the survivors, have suffered tremendous health issues because of the things that they inhaled that day.
And that's a much longer process. Not easier, not harder, but it's just a drawn-out process.
They're just as much victims of that attack.
Yeah.
The people who died 10 years later, 15 years later from cancer that they got from inhaling those fumes are just as much victims of that day as the people who died in the initial plane crash.
I'm going to take a couple phone calls here before we take a break, and we continue to take phone calls throughout the rest of this hour. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, or toll free at 866-455-9797. If you want to talk about remembering September 11th, what it means to you, if you want to talk about, I was just discussing before we took that quick break there about this implication that the president is supposed to serve as a role model. Some people say that, some people don't. And the analogy in this article that I read on Town Hall about if you've got somebody running into your house, if your house is on fire and the firefighter is running in to save you, to save your family, to save your dog, to save your house, you want to make sure he's the best firefighter that can be running into your house at that time. And often I thought that was a very interesting, compelling analogy when it comes to President Trump. You don't have to stand by the misdeeds of this president in his personal life to not appreciate his value of conservatism, and ultimately the sacrifice we would have made as a country if we would have employed the massive progressivism of Hillary Clinton. And it's definitely something that is important to understand and to acknowledge, and not to always live in this all one way or all the other way, where you need to be okay with every single thing Donald Trump has ever done to think he's a good president. That's ridiculous. And also, if you're someone who despises his president, to think that there's never anything he could do that was good or that did contribute to the success of this country. I think it makes a difference. Terrell, thanks for calling the show.
I'm okay with everything. Yeah, I'm calling about that comment you made about the president not being a role
Hey, Terrell,
model.
can you turn your radio down for us real quick?
Hold on first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was calling about the comment you made about the president not being a role model.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, I want to let you know, when I think about politics, to me, they nothing but the Bloods and the Crips, in my analogy. But for us to be the strongest country in the world and have someone show our kids what bullyism is, when you say you don't have to be a good role model, you do have to be a good role model.
Why?
Why not?
Because children don't have just one role model. The role model is supposed to start in the home.
Yeah, but we already know it's supposed to stay in the home. But we got a trillion examples when it hasn't stayed in the home. So for us to, I come from, my father raised me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand when you say it comes from the home, because he is my role model. But you got so many people that don't have role models in the home, so they look other places for role models.
I doubt they're looking to the president of the United States to fill that void, because there are athletes. Athletes are famously known for filling the role of role model and not wanting to be a role model. There is the understanding. A lot of people say, well, you need to know that you're on the national stage. You need to know that people are watching you and kids are watching you. And it is a responsibility of them to understand that. But that's the difference between somebody who is playing a sport, who kids are going to look up to, and a president who was one of two options in 2016. And when you have those two options, you have to ask yourself, what's the best thing for the future for my kids? And the best thing for the future for my kids was not Hillary Clinton. That's clear.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I think Trump's doing a great job as president. Don't get me wrong. Trump is a businessman, and America is a business.
Yeah.
So don't get me twisted with none of that. I don't care who wins it. Like I said, they like the Bloods and the Crips to me. But I think Trump is doing a good job of presidenting, not representing. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not. Don't get it wrong. Like I'm saying, he's not.
I won't out you.
Well, he's a good president.
Yeah. All right, Terrell, thank you so much for calling the show. I understand that the president, the office of the president, it's crazy to me how the office of the president holds this dignity and this responsibility to be a role model for children, but yet there's no respect for the office of the presidency by all of the people who are criticizing him. Do you respect the office or don't you?
Right.
And President Trump hasn't led a squeaky clean life, but he didn't decide to be a politician until he ran for president.
Right.
And he was massively successful. It's not ideal. if anybody ever comes to Annie and asks me to create the being that would actually serve as the president of the United States, I don't know that it would look exactly like Donald Trump. But
Sure.
But you have this option. In the way that we elect our politicians, it was Hillary, it was Donald.
Right.
And that's so many people voted in 2016 because they didn't want the other person to win.
I agree with Terrell that I prefer the president be a good role model. I prefer my favorite athletes or my kids' favorite musicians,
but they don't consult you
to be good role models. In a perfect world, and if it was two people, if the two people on the ballot in November were Donald Trump and another person who was similar to Donald Trump as far as policies were concerned, I might vote for that other person because I don't like what comes along with Donald Trump. But it wasn't that. The vote was starkly different. It was this flawed guy who is going to take the country in a direction that I generally agree with. Not everything, but generally. Or this person who was also very flawed, who would take the country in a direction that I am completely opposed to.
Yeah.
Those are the only two choices.
That's what we
had. So
I
understand that I want the president to be a role model too, but that wasn't our choice. There were no role models in that election.
I tell my children, you get what you get.
Yeah.
And you don't throw a fit.
Yeah, there was no role model. Nobody to look at in that election.
More phone calls as soon as we come back. Looks like lines are full now, but 314-241-9797 if you're trying to get on. Also, in the 2 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by Dr. Susan Pendergrass, who's going to talk to us about what the state of Missouri can do to help autistic children in their pursuit of getting a quality education, and what the Missouri Congress's General Assembly there is doing to potentially stop it. And also, we're going to speak with Brandon Straka, who's the founder of the Walk Away movement. He's announced a march on Washington. We're going to ask him about that and get his thoughts on the events of the day. Stay tuned. A lot more Annie Frey Show headed your way.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Remember the great day of weather we had yesterday? Let's do it again on this Tuesday. Lots of sunshine, nice. It's comfortable. Low humidity levels, the high near 80 degrees. Tonight, clear and cool. 58 for the overnight low. Wednesday and Thursday, more of the same. Lots of sunshine and nice. 82 Wednesday, and again on Thursday, about 85 degrees on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service offers residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com. The moment that crisp, chill, cool breeze hits the air, you automatically think fall. And think about sitting on your brand new deck from STL Fence Works, surrounded by a beautiful fence where your dog and your kids or your grandkids can play, and you've got a nice cozy sweater on and a cup of coffee, and it's your backyard. It's your domain, and STL Fence Works can build for you a special little place in your own backyard. If you've been considering a fence or if you've been considering a deck on your home, you got to check out STL Fence Works. They have been a family-owned and operated business for almost 50 years. They focus on customer service. They want to make sure that you are absolutely satisfied at the end of your deck project or the end of your fence project. They have a trustworthy A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they are committed to a quality lifetime workmanship warranty on all of their fence and deck products. If you are considering a fence or a deck for your home, it's not too late to get in with STL Fence Works. You can check them out online anytime at stlfenceworks.com.
Who wants to spend 2 or more years in braces? Now with Fast Braces, your time in braces can be measured in months, weeks, or even days. Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omas with Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles. As an exclusive provider of the innovative Fast Braces and Fast Braces Turbo orthodontic systems, my patients can have their teeth straightened in less than half the time of regular braces and at almost half the cost. Fast Braces is comprehensive, non-extraction orthodontics, creating a fuller smile, enhanced airway, better bite, and a more stable result requiring minimal retainer wear. Fast Braces is also safe for children and adults of all ages. Got an important event coming up soon, or just dread the thought of wearing braces for years? Find out how quickly you can have straighter teeth and a terrific smile by visiting fastbracesusa.com for your complimentary consultation.
Dr. Omas practices general dentistry and has more than 25 years of experience in orthodontics and dental orthopedics. He is not only a senior master provider, but also the first and only Turbo certified Fast Braces provider in North America, designating him as the expert in Fast Braces technology.
Imagine 5 or 10 years from now finding out that you could have had more money saved for retirement if you had simply taken the time to work toward ensuring your portfolio was tax efficient. That extra vacation you could have taken, or maybe even retiring earlier than you thought possible. We've all heard about the Trump tax changes, but do you know what it means for you? Call Heisey Advisory Group today at 314-909-1116 and register for our upcoming no-cost live tax class on September 27th at Umsel West County Center at 6 p.m. We can help show you how your taxes might be affected by the Trump tax change today and in retirement. Be diligent when planning. Work toward minimizing the effect Washington has on your retirement. Call now and get registered at 314-909-1116.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Heisey Advisory Group are not affiliated companies.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Napa know-how.
Right now, Mobil 1 Full Synthetic Motor Oil is $29.99 for a 5-quart jug. Its advanced formula provides maximum sludge protection, defending your engine like a catcher defends home plate. So, get top-notch engine protection with the Mobil 1 Full Synthetic 5-quart jug for $29.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 9/30/18.
Dave Glover.
Brian Kilmeade joins me.
President Trump appointed 50,000 people. 50,000. I think thousands are at the senior advisor.
Dave Glover. Weekdays at 3 on FM News Talk 97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Listen to the falls to the floor.
President Trump asked me to join you for this ceremony, to pay a debt of honor and remembrance to all who fell here at the Pentagon on September 11, 2001.
We continue to remember those who died on September 11th, 17 years ago. And I also want to recognize the people who did witness those events the way we all did and all took it in and then made a decision to sign up for the military, to dedicate their life to service in that capacity, or saw the firefighters who were running into the buildings and saw what an important job that they were doing and decided to become firefighters. The people who saw the police officers working so much in not just New York City, but in Washington, D.C. at the Pentagon, and seeing the sacrifice that those individuals were making as well, and chose to contribute. Because there are a lot of people who did. A lot of families who have generational just traditions, I guess, of serving in some sort of public service like that. And it's an important thing to recognize. We should recognize it more often. So we recognize that today. I want to get to some phone calls here. Let's go to Glenn first. Glenn, thanks for calling the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. First of all, thank God for the first responders, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, but when you talk about role models, I knew what I was getting with President Trump. First of all, he wasn't my first choice, but I put this out on Facebook a lot of times. I would have voted for Attila the Hun before I ever voted for Hillary Clinton. And I liked people. It took me a while in my life to figure out that you're not going to ever find a politician that agrees with your views 100%. Mm-hmm. So you have to get someone who agrees with most of your opinions. My role models were my family. I had a older uncle who was my brother, like a brother to me, and I had my stepfather and my grandfather. They were all hard workers, honest men. That's who I look for my role models. And my uncle got killed in an accident in 1999, and it was the year of Mark McGwire's, record-breaking season, the winter of. And I like Mark McGwire, but he was never a role model for me. No athlete, no one. I never went farther in my family for that.
Yeah.
And anybody who say that President Trump or any president, I'm not President Obama, President Bush, Roy Blunt or Claire any politician as a role model, I disagree with 100%.
Yeah. I thanks for the call, Glenn. I appreciate you listening and sharing that with us today. And I think that's right. And the key is to understand that President Trump is a flawed individual, to not protect him from his own shortcomings. But we're so tribal. When you think back to the way we felt on September 11th and the weeks after, there was one image that seemed to repeat itself, and it was the United States flag. It was in people, where I come from, it was in people's pickup trucks, and it was something that unified everybody in that moment because we needed it. I hate to think that in order to understand the priorities in our life, to understand what's truly of value, that you have to be just so horrifically reminded of how fragile this all is, how it can be over in an instant, how you can lose a loved one, how a loved one could lose you, and that there are people out there who want to take our ability to disagree with one another and to hate your president. You can hate your president in the United States of America. In a lot of ways, it's encouraged to speak out and to speak up against the person who leads this country because, as I said, we see in the World Trade Center, we see the firefighters, we see the police officers, we saw it too at the Pentagon, but we see those public servants at the World Trade Center. At the Pentagon, we see the reflection of the United States military, but in Flight 93, in a very quiet field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, we saw some random people that God put in that plane to take it down, to keep from more destruction taking place. They took matters into their own hands because they were good people. I'm sure none of them asked one another how they felt about the election that had taken place. Al Gore, George Bush, who are you for? Wasn't a factor. That's what makes us Americans.
You mentioned the flag a couple times today, and I think it's a good point to make. And I wonder if anybody listening or anybody around the country today, when they hear people talk about that, if it sheds a little bit of light on why some people are so turned off by things
of it.
Like the protests happening in the NFL. Like when people are like, well, I'm not really protesting the military or I just am protesting this or that. But people take the flag some people, and I think rightfully so, take the flag as a symbol of everything that this country is.
And I would venture,
hopefully they understand a little bit after,
to say, you ask those people who are kneeling for the flag, ask them about their September 11th story. And they're passionate about it too. That day would strike home for them just like it strikes home for us. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. How old are those guys? They're in their 20s.
Yeah, but I don't see how any athlete in New York could be kneeling for the national anthem.
Like that's what I continue to stress when it comes to the kneeling of the flag. Colin Kaepernick, you've got something you want to say. You have something that you want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's being heard in a way that you're not intending. So adjust your method. Obviously, he's not kneeling on the sideline because there is no sideline for him to kneel on. But the other people who are doing that, and it's so few. Like it's they're of all of the I don't know, or how many people are on an NFL team? Like 80, 54? 54, and I don't even know how many teams there are anymore. There's hundreds of people playing in the NFL, hundreds of people standing on a sideline at any game on any given day, and most of them aren't kneeling. But the protective nature that we have of the United States flag is rooted in moments like the firefighters lifting that flag up above the rubble and the wreckage of the Twin Towers. And the massive flag that they unfolded over the edge of that building that was still standing. And the presence of the United States flag at everything. And it signifies freedom.
That's when sports was at its best at bringing people together after 9/11.
Yes.
And now we're seeing
Jack Buck
at its worst.
Jack Buck in his speech, I mean, tear you apart.
Yep.
It's something so important for us to understand how real 17 years ago, how real it was what happened and the impact of what that's had on the history of our country. We're going to continue to take phone calls, but we're also going to speak with the Show Me Institute as well as Brandon Straka, founder of the Walk Away movement, and talk to him about the March on Washington that he's organizing. Follow us at Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. Also on Twitter, you can always interact with me at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Love to have conversations there. And live webcam, 971talk.com/Annie. We'll be back.
The confusion sets in.
Does your home have windows that stick? Or maybe floors that sag? What about cracks in your walls? If your home has any of these signs, the windows, floors, and walls may not be the problem. It may be your foundation. The good news? We know how to fix foundation problems permanently. To learn how, call us today for a free, no-obligation inspection.
Call Woods at 888-908-4637. Woods Basement Systems, the highest-rated, most reviewed contractor for basement waterproofing, crawl space, and foundation repairs. Find us at woodsrocks.com.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire? Are you worried that you won't have enough income in retirement to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you also wondering how the stock market will affect your current retirement plans? This is Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'd like to show you the kind of income your retirement accounts can provide, whether you're retiring now or even in the next 5 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation financial review. We'll build your own personalized, structured income plan that will show you exactly the type of retirement you can count on. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees achieve a worry-free retirement for 31 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or visit us online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
Are you like me?
Have you wondered if it's smarter to buy tires in person or online? In my family, we do both at locally owned and family-owned Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We love the convenience of Dobbs because they have stores all over town. And we count on the Dobbs Tire Pros to advise us on choosing the right tires for our vehicle, driving style, and budget. And because they have the biggest inventory, we get same-day service. Sometimes we buy online, but only at gotodobbs.com. We save money and hassle because we don't have to ship to an installer or pay shipping costs like on other tire websites. The tires we buy online from Dobbs are installed at Dobbs by expert technicians. So, for your next tire purchase, buy from Dobbs, in person or online, and get the tires you want at the best price in town, installed by experts who will service your new tires for the life of the tires. Stop in or visit gotodobbs.com today.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A radio.com station.
The wind and the water are coming. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
We are in a very deadly and important game of chess with Hurricane Florence.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster says they're trying to stay one step ahead. North Carolina's governor ordering mandatory evacuations of all barrier islands as Florence gets even bigger.
Now, where is this going to make landfall? Anywhere from places around Charleston, stretching to the north, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. All of these areas will get an impact with this storm. Part of that is going to be these strong winds. The other part is going to be storm surge. When you get a big storm like this, it brings a lot of water with it. There are some low-lying areas here, especially across portions of North Carolina, where the sea level is so low in some of these locations that this water could push well inland and cause flooding for a large area.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz, there could also be days of heavy rain. The federal government preparing to help the states. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The president telling reporters earlier that his administration is, in his words, absolutely and totally prepared for Hurricane Florence making landfall along the southeastern U.S. coast. He also said that the government and FEMA are prepared and acknowledged there's a chance the storm will hit the East Coast hard. The president has declared states of emergency for North and South Carolina and Virginia, facilitating federal help. He also canceled campaign events Thursday and Friday scheduled for Mississippi and Missouri. The president set to meet this hour with the head of FEMA and the Secretary of Homeland Security. Lisa?
John, earlier today, he attended Pennsylvania's 9/11 ceremony while Vice President Pence was at the Pentagon.
We gather here in the shadow of the building where your loved ones departed this life to say that you do not bear that burden alone.
And in New York, the names of the nearly 3,000 killed read aloud as they are every year at Ground Zero. Fox News, fair and balanced.
No holds barred talk. Can't miss documentaries, specials, and more. Plus, your favorite Fox News personalities. This is our time, and this is going to be our place. Fox Nation, coming soon. Sign up for updates and be the first to know. Go to foxnation.com now. The Fox News Rundown is a weekly morning podcast that dives deep into the major and controversial stories of the day. Hosted by the anchors of Fox News Radio. Subscribe now to hear a perspective of news you won't find anywhere else. Find it now on foxnewspodcasts.com. Brett Baer.
When someone watches the news, they want someone they can trust. Our job is to cut through the talking points.
Martha McCallum.
We're going to ask the tough questions because there's a lot of conventional wisdom out there that needs to be challenged.
Shannon Bream.
What I'm doing is making sure that whatever is developed through the day, people are fully informed from coast to coast.
We're 24/7 news, but we're really down to the minute.
We're going to be fearless. We're going to be fair.
Whether it's 4 a.m. or midnight, we're there.
Fox News Channel. Real news, real honest opinion.
97.1 News Time, 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. Senator Claire McCaskill and Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley are locked in one of the country's most highly publicized Senate races, and now the two have agreed to face off in their first debate. The debate will take place the evening of Thursday, October 18th, in front of a live audience. Federal appeals court judges have ruled to lift a preliminary injunction that blocked Missouri from enforcing some abortion restrictions. Planned Parenthood says the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruling yesterday could end abortions at the Columbia Clinic in weeks. That could leave a St. Louis Planned Parenthood site as the only abortion clinic in the state. This news update brought to you by RP Lumber, best service, best value. Don't forget, FM News Talk 97.1 is now available on radio.com. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Download the app or text SKILL to 484848. Text SKILL to 484848 to try Babbel for free. That's SKILL to 484848.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Every day, I'm blessed with the opportunity to sit down and speak with our veterans and active military personnel. They always knew that they were VA eligible, but didn't realize just how easy I make the process. At Hero.Loan, we close VA loans in 14 days. I pay for your appraisal, and we do all the VA paperwork for you. Get the loan you've earned and apply online today with your Missouri VA loan specialist at Hero.Loan, the only way to VA.
Hey, Tim
the
Jones
Home Loan
here
Expert
from my guys
LLC.
at Universal Windows Direct. You know if you need new windows. If your windows are moldy, ugly, fogged up, drafty, or worse, listen, winter's coming, and it's supposed to be a doozy. Don't suffer through one more winter in a cold, drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. They've got that patented foam super spacer technology created by NASA, creates a better seal than traditional metal spacers. Your windows are going to last longer. You save money on your energy bills. New windows from Universal will make your home more beautiful. Everyone's custom made for your home, from wood trim to premium vinyl, the added security of cam-style locks. It's like looking at a brand new home, all backed up by the true lifetime warranty, covered for as long as you own your home, plus 30 years to the next homeowner. For every window you buy, the next one's free. There's no limits. 0% financing for 36 months, all backed up by that true lifetime warranty. Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today. Call 314-878-0300. That's 314-878-0300. Or go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. That's universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
This is Ron Kraszewski from Stiefel. Join me and our honored heroes, Jackson and Joy, at the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night Walk, September 29th in Forest Park. Bring health and hope to local patients who are battling blood cancers. Your support helps provide local patients with educational materials, emotional support, financial aid, and cures.
Together we can bring light to the dark world of cancer. So form a team and learn more at lightthenight.org/gateway. That's lightthenight.org/gateway.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices, secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America.
That was President George W. Bush reacting to those events on September 11th. And, you know, I talked about my story at the beginning of the show. If you missed it, you can check it out on the podcast, but at radio.com. You think about President, I always forget that President Bush had been the president for 8 months. He was elected in 2000, but that election, as we know, went on and on and on. And it was 2001. He had not been the president of the United States for a year and had to endure this. And he was a unifier at that time. People did rally behind him. Of course, over the span of 8 years, that would change a little bit as we went to a war that many people over the course of time grew to disagree with, and bodies were coming home and questions were certainly being asked. But on that day, President George Bush definitely rose to the occasion. I'm going to take a quick phone call here before we get to our guest from the Show Me Institute. Warren, thanks for calling the show.
Hi, Annie. Yeah, well, 9/11 was like my Pearl Harbor, all right, and it seemed like it was just yesterday. I mean, I was actually scheduled to fly that day, and I was at my mom's house near Lambert, you know, waiting, you know, getting ready to go to the airport, and was watching TV, and when that first plane hit, you know, I just saw it was a tragic accident, and then when the second one I saw it hit, you know, and I knew, that we were under some attack, all right. And another thing, you know, when those buildings went down, I couldn't believe that a burning building would just pancake like that. You know, that was really scary and horrifying. But the thing that really got me was when that plane hit the Pentagon, and, you know, I thought it was the beginning of World War III.
Yeah, a lot of us did. I think you're right.
You know, it was so scary because I didn't think we were that vulnerable that anything could get to the Pentagon, and that was just scary as hell.
It was. Yeah, Warren, I think that's a great observance and a great remembrance, because that's certainly the way I think a lot of America felt. It was scary as hell. And when you reflect on it, when you see the images today, even 17 years later, it's still scary as hell.
Yes, it is.
Warren, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's why it's so important to remember to make sure that we understand what happened and what we are up against at all times, and just defending our homeland. So we continue to remember that today. Joining us in studio now is our guest from the Show Me Institute, Susan Pendergrass, here to talk about something that has a little bit of hope involved in it. That's good. But there's always a little bit of bureaucracy involved that slows things down a little bit. First of all, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And as we reflect on the events of September 11th, it's important to understand, even in the midst of that, life had to go on. That was a message that we had to tell ourselves, and you had to say it out loud so that you'd hear it yourself, as much as telling other people like you had some insider advice to give. But when it comes to the education of kids in our country, it's always an important issue. It's always something worth talking about. But Bryce's Law has a special meaning in the state of Missouri. Tell me a little bit about Bryce's Law, how it came to be, before we talk about what needs to happen next.
Sure. And I will say, in 2001, I was a parent of young children, and that was a very challenging time. And it can be really hard to be a parent. You're a parent, you know, it can be hard. And I think in particular...
On a normal day.
On a normal day. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And in particular, it can be really hard if you have a child who is born with a disability. And Dwight Scharnhorst was in the Missouri State Legislature, and he had a grandson, Bryce, who was born with severe autism. And in the process of finding out more about his autism, he started having seizures. And unfortunately, at the age of 6, he passed away. And Dwight saw that as an opportunity to work for legislation that would help parents of children who are born with autism and Down syndrome and really challenging special needs, and was able, after 5 tries, to
started in 2008.
Yeah, to successfully get Bryce's Law passed, which was awesome because, I mean, the legislature recognized how hard it can be for parents. Imagine like many, I don't want to say most, but lots of parents find out that their child's assigned public school isn't the right thing for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a child with disability, you can imagine that that would happen much more frequently. And so you want to get the best you can for them. And they recognize that that's the case. And they opened up the opportunity for scholarships to be granted for children with these special needs under Bryce's Law. But unfortunately, they were afraid, I don't know, they were unwilling to fund it with public money. So since the law was enacted in 2014, not one child has gotten a scholarship, and no scholarship granting organizations have been formed.
So one of the reasons, as I'm reading this important article that's you can find right now, it's called "It's Time to Fund Bryce's Law," and it's available for you at showmeinstitute.org. One of the hesitations they had was the potential of these scholarships to be granted to children who would not be in public school, that would potentially be in a private parochial school, and the hesitation to allow those tax dollars to go into that realm. It seems to not be a very child-focused effort on the part of the legislature.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think our public schools are doing the best they can to try to address the needs of all children, but there are clearly some private options that focus on particular types of childhood disabilities, and they can be expensive. And so for a parent who wants their child in there, they may not be able to afford it, and some of them are affiliated with religious organizations. So under Bryce's Law, that was recognized, and they said, that's okay, they indicated what kind of schools could participate, including private schools, including religious private schools, but they didn't want any public money to go to the program. So essentially, you could set up your own nonprofit, you could get donations, they're tax deductible, and you could give out scholarships. You could do that with or without Bryce's Law.
Sure, you wouldn't need the legislature to allow you to help that way.
Adds layers of bureaucracy. So they acknowledged the need, and then they didn't find a way to actually make it happen. So I think that now that we've had Trinity Lutheran versus Comer decided in the Supreme Court, it's time to think about acknowledging that private institutions and even religious private institutions should be able to participate in these programs that are for the good of all kids, that would take dollars outside the public school system, but do what's right for the children.
And I think it's so key to recognize the emphasis of the care of the child. Who's most knowledgeable about what care would be needed by each individual child? That should come from the home. And especially, I would say that about any child in any educational situation, not just one with extenuating circumstances. I know what's best for my children.
Certainly.
I've shopped schools in the last few years, and we've experienced public schools and parochial schools, and wonderful public school system.
Sure.
But there's something that my kids can benefit from in a parochial school that I see is very valuable and beneficial.
Yeah.
And my kids don't have special needs. In a scenario where a mother or a father is looking at their child and knowing that in the public school system, they will not have their needs met, and that there is an opportunity that is out there for them where it will potentially be met, it seems as though we have another classic example of trumping the decision-making where the government steps in and says, no, we'll handle this.
Don't worry. Every school district, every school across the whole state of Missouri can handle your child exactly the way your child needs to be handled. And of course, that's not true. And, parents should have the capacity to shop for services. And I can well imagine that if you have a child with a special need, you become an expert in that special need, right? And you immediately know the medicine and the psychiatry. And so parents are desperate to make sure that their child is in the best situation possible. And the law actually expires in 2019, so we have an opportunity for the legislature to continue to have Bryce's Law, but to actually put money behind it. I don't think there's any restriction now that Trinity Lutheran has been decided, and they could just publicly fund it. We don't need to jump through hoops and do tax credits anymore. I feel like if they believe that those parents need those options, they should do what they need to do to give the parents those options.
So just the Trinity Lutheran case was within the last year, I believe.
Yes.
Refresh our memory on exactly what was decided there. It was regarding playground equipment?
Yeah. It was like playground covering made out of rubber tires. And basically, you could apply for grant funds. And it was interpreted in Missouri as religious institutions couldn't apply. And the way the Supreme Court interpreted that was they could apply. You couldn't exclude them because they're religious. Just like you couldn't, if a church wants to rent a shelter at a park for a barbecue, you can't exclude them because they're religious. Like you can't exclude them from public funding, public property. So, and we also have this Blaine Amendment we can talk about later. But a man came through in the late 1800s who basically didn't want any money going to Catholic schools because he was Protestant. He only wanted to fund Protestant schools. And that is what's used as sort of the fallback for why we can't fund programs like Bryce's Law. I do believe that when Brett Kavanaugh joins the Supreme Court, we're going to have an opportunity to finally expunge Blaine laws from the dozens of states that have them, Blaine amendments, because I think he's more open to the idea of these were exclusionary, they are discriminatory amendments. And once the Blaine Amendment is gone, then there won't be any excuse for not funding things like Bryce's Law.
Yeah, it's a very important issue to look into because providing parents the most possible access to choice so they can choose what's best for their children. It's so important. And the education of your child is so key. It's so very important. If people are interested in helping move this along, what can they do?
Well, for one thing, we have a really fantastic video that we interviewed the representative who brought Bryce's Law. We have got some pictures of Bryce. I would encourage people to watch that and to come to our website to read the paper. And I would just say that if you think that parents need more options, you should work to make that happen and make sure that the legislature is held accountable.
Yeah. Well, Show Me Institute online at showmeinstitute.org is always a wealth of resource for you to look into situations like this a little bit further and educate yourself so you can know what you could look through that site for hours and see different things that you would potentially be passionate about that you don't even know exist. And that's why the Show Me Institute is so fantastic because they're doing the legwork for you. And the information is all there. Showmeinstitute.org. Dr. Susan Pendergrass, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you in. All right. When we come back, we're going to take some more phone calls. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, or toll free at 866-455-9797. And on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. We'll continue to reflect on the day and discuss some of the stories that we might all remember when we think back on September 11th of 2001. And what does that mean for September 11th of 2018? Does it mean anything? We'll discuss that and more with you. So give us a call. Pick up one of these open lines. Jed, you're first. Don't go anywhere.
20 years in debt, 20 years in the government, 20 years can never get me by.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. The news that's now.
This is a real hurricane. It's going to affect the entire state of Virginia. Potential of historic, catastrophic, and life-threatening flooding.
Concise and current.
Never forget this day 17 years ago.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
Let's just remember when this recovery started.
Factually incorrect.
If that doesn't get you out to vote for the midterms, nothing will.
FM News Talk.
Okay, I'm going to get right to the point.
No matter what the people on the left and the haters want to say.
97.1.
Convergent Wealth Management is focused on you. When you go into Convergent Wealth Management, you sit down and you say, you know what, I don't have anything planned for retirement. I've been sticking some money away, but I don't know what I'm doing with it. I don't know how my money is working for me, or I want to help pay for my kids' college education, but I need to pay off some of this debt first. Whatever the scenario is for you, whether you're just starting out in your career or you have been in your career for decades, whatever the case is, Convergent Wealth Management is focused on you. They are helping you by focusing on values. The values that are important to them are often going to be the same values that are important to you. And when you're looking at planning ahead, the truth is that every individual's circumstances, every individual's goals, they're going to be unique. They're going to be unique to your family, to your circumstances, to wherever you are in your financial course of events. Convergent Wealth Management focuses on you. They serve many clients in both Missouri and Illinois, and they have a wonderful retention rate. And most referrals come within their client base because people just want to share Convergent Wealth Management with other people. That's how confident their clients are with Convergent Wealth Management. That's why you need to check them out. You can go visit them online at convergentwm.com.
Did you know that some brokers in the St. Louis area charge up to 7% to sell your home? At Straight Realty, we only charge 4%. What could you do with that extra money? Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Last year, Straight Realty sold over $41 million in home sales, saving our clients over $1 million in commissions. Let us help you sell and buy your next home. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct, but right now it's smarter than ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing and no money down on any purchase. No kidding, it's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. I'm telling you, this makes fine jewelry more affordable than ever. It's definitely the smart way to buy. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael White, a general dentist located in the Sunset Hills area. Starting on my 10th year as an advertiser on 97.1, I would like to thank everyone for their loyal support for this wonderful radio station. One of the new trends in dentistry today involve large dental corporations buying out private dental offices. The problem with this is that many times you don't know who will be doing your dental care. In fact, you may not even recognize anybody working there. My promise to you is that when you call my office, you will always know who your dentist will be. My name is Dr. Michael White. I strive to always maintain affordable fees, and with over 25 years' experience, you can have the confidence that I can help you with whatever type of dental problem you're having. My phone number is 314-270-8552, 314-270-8552, or visit our website at sunsethills.dentist. That's sunsethills.dentist. And thanks for listening.
When the night seems to say all hope is lost, gone away. But I know I'm not alone. By the light she stands. There she waits, faithful friend.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Westward wind, show the way, carry me.
First couple of days were just gruesome. The realization that we lost that many people, the realization we weren't going to discover bodies,
well, everyone empty at the hospital waiting.
That was a shock. That was an absolute shock to me.
Rudy Giuliani reflecting on September 11th, the mayor of New York City, and came to be known as the mayor. And it's kind of interesting how that time has changed and Rudy Giuliani's current place in our news cycle right now. But we remember that day and we appreciate his leadership in that city on a day where they very much needed a leader, and he was that guy. So we reflect on that. We remember September 11th of 17 years ago, and we look forward. We have a special guest now joining us, Brandon Straka, the founder of the Walk Away campaign. You know about it. You've heard about it. You've probably tweeted about it. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on today. It's great to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So you have you made this announcement, your hashtag walk away. You're really putting the walk in walk away. Tell us about this event that you have coming up in October and how people can be involved.
Sure. So on the weekend of October 26th through the 28th, the Walkaway campaign is putting on a Walkaway March on Washington weekend. So it really begins on October 26th. That's a Friday. We're doing a gala dinner at the Trump International Hotel. It's going to be a little bit fancy schmancy. And then on Saturday is the main event. We're going to have the march culminating into the rally. And we are marching from the DNC to our nation's capital. We are quite literally walking away from the Democratic Party. And we are going to assemble in front of our nation's capital with a stunning backdrop. We're going to have incredible speakers, really, really motivate people and sort of educate people and energize people going into those midterm elections, which are going to be right around the corner from our march. And then on Sunday, October 28th, we're going to close things out with a closing brunch. And then give people the day to travel back home and be with their families and get really motivated and energized for the voting on November 6th.
You know, I think it's such a great event, and it's a key time to do it. In the last week of October, you were speaking with Red Pill Pundit about this march, and these are your words. You said, "This is a march to show the world that Americans will not be taken down by hate, lies, rage, division, hostility, and deceit. We will walk away from all that divides us." That sentence could be taken out of this of a march that you would hear from the left and from progressives and the Democratic Party, but you're here saying that there is something that Democrats need to walk away from in the name of ridding themselves of hate and the lies and the rage and the division and the hostility and the deceit. What about those particular words are embodied in this event and ultimately in the walkaway campaign?
Well, you know, it's funny that you just used that quote, because literally right before I got on the air with you, I was on Twitter, and somebody retweeted a moment that I have to assume just happened today or recently from Maxine Waters, doubling down once again on her comments about circling around people who are conservatives and letting them know that they're not welcome. She seems to think that's not a threat. She said, "I wasn't threatening anyone. I just said to circle around them and tell them they're not welcome." Well, if this is what's going to pass as civility from the Democratic Party and from people on the left who seem to tout her up as an ideal of what they're pushing, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we don't want. This is not what we want for our country going forward. Now, there are many reasons, I think, to walk away from the Democratic Party. We're walking away from socialism and communism. We're walking away from a party that's forgotten about the American people and cares more about illegal immigrants than they care about the citizens of this country. But we're really also walking away from what has become a self-entitled rage from people on the left, that they now feel entitled to name call, to commit acts of violence and vandalism, that they feel like if you support the president, or quite frankly, if you just don't agree with their points of view, that they have the right to attack you. And they do not, and the American people are sick of it, and we're walking away from it.
Absolutely. So if that's the way that the Democratic Party today, at least the face of it that we see out there, speaking on behalf of it, leading those who are up in arms on the left, what is the right have? You're walking away, but what are you walking towards if you do support this president, if you do support today's version of this Republican Party or these conservative values? What's there for you?
Right. Well, that's where I found myself. I walked away from the Democratic Party, and I now consider myself a Republican. Well, I am a registered Republican, and I consider myself a conservative. Now, for me personally, I can speak only on my own behalf, and I'll say that what I think is waiting for people on the other side is a sense of national pride. We have a president in the office right now who cares about the American people first, about getting them back to work, about bringing industry back. This is a president who has celebrated the African-American unemployment rate being at an all-time low, the Hispanic unemployment rate being an all-time low. This is a guy who cares about working-class people. He cares about everyday Americans. And collectively, I think the conservative movement and the people on the right, they care about patriotism. They care about our country. They care about national pride. And this is not the Republican Party that the people on the left would like you to believe that, they're racist, they're homophobic. I have been warmly embraced by people on the right. I'm an openly gay man. This is no secret. People know this. I have hundreds of thousands, if not more than that, people on the right who have come to say, we love you, we support you, we thank you for stepping up and leading this movement. I mean, the times have changed. This is an inclusive and diverse Republican Party. That's what I'm finding.
So you're exposing this to people. As a gay man yourself, you're openly saying, I haven't been treated the way they would have you think that I would have been treated. Is the left relying on fear for people being afraid of what the Republican Party has to offer? Is fear where they win?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's absolutely what they're relying on. And that was one of many reasons, the liberal media being another. But that was hugely instrumental in my decision to walk away, because when I discovered that the liberal media was peddling in fear and intimidation and selling that to minority communities, keeping us in a state of intimidation and fear and feeling like it's paralyzing. It's paralyzing to constantly feel like there's a political party that's out to get you and that you can't succeed, that you're a victim, that you don't have a place in this country. And I'm finding that was literally lies. I mean, I had fallen for these lies and existed in that state of paralysis for no good reason other than the fact that I believed them.
What's your experience if somebody actually who is on the left, who hasn't quite walked away yet, but they're like, what's this all about? You're investing a lot of your time, a lot of your money, a lot of your effort into encouraging people to understand where you're coming from. What is there a common point where people lean into what you're saying and say, tell me more?
Oh, yeah, I think definitely. But I think it starts with a feeling for most people. I mean, that's what happened to me. And the Walkaway campaign itself, for people who may not know, it started as a testimonial campaign on Facebook. Of course, it's branched out to all social media, and there are videos now on YouTube as well. But if you watch the video testimonials of people who are telling their stories and their experiences of why they're walking away, one of the commonalities that you'll find in almost all of them is that it starts with a feeling. Something's not right here. I'm being told one thing, but what I'm observing with my own eyes and hearing with my own ears is not matching up with the story that I'm being told by the media and the politicians and the people on the left. I think it starts there. And then what it's really about is kind of digging in and doing a little bit of homework and research. And what this campaign has provided for people is a network of support as well. So now at least people who are having that feeling and they're thinking something is wrong, something is not right here, there's some place where you can go and you can be around other people who've got your back, because we've been through it too and we have walked away. Yeah,
it's an important message. And the key of it is being open to discussion. And even if somebody is discussing this with you specifically as somebody who did walk away, just wanting to understand more, not so much to talk to you and say, this is why I'm going to change your mind and you need to think the way I think, but learning more about each other as individuals, where you're coming from, why you feel the way you feel, without any type of immediate contractual agreement about at the end, we both have to agree completely when we finish this conversation and it's going to be your way or my way. This Walk Away campaign is starting a lot of conversations around the country in a very, very trying time. I think you're seeing a lot of success with this.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. And you're absolutely right about what you say. And I've made it a point since the beginning to tell people, because I get that question all the time. Okay, well, where are we walking to? Where are we walking to? I made a decision early on that I wasn't going to be starting a new political party. I'm not starting a religion. I'm not starting a cult. What I'm encouraging people to do is leave the Democratic Party, leave the left. But where you go on this journey is really up to you. Now, my journey, my research, and all the questions that I asked led me to the Republican Party. That's where I am now. But we have people in the Walkaway campaign who consider themselves independents. They consider themselves libertarians. Some are Republicans who don't love our president. Some are Republicans who do love our president. But you know what? Despite all of these differences, we all engage with each other with respect, dignity, and civility, and that's what we want for our country going forward.
Well, I'd encourage people to go to walkawaycampaign.com and learn more about this March on D.C., which is taking place October 26th through 28th. It's the Walk Away Campaign March on D.C. There's information there. You can learn more about Brandon Straka. It's a wonderful website. I'm looking at it right now, and we commend you for your efforts and being bold to do this, because it would have been a lot easier for you to stay silent And I assume that has something to do with your Twitter handle, at US Minority. People can follow you there and communicate with you there as well. So, Brandon, thank you so much. We appreciate you and your efforts and coming and sharing some time with us today.
Absolutely, and I'll be back anytime. Thanks for having me.
Well, we'll definitely be in touch. We will get back together with you soon. When he's talking about his quote, "This is a march to show the world that Americans will not be taken down by hate, lies, rage, division, hostility, and deceit." That could have been said by Kamala Harris. That could have been said by Maxine Waters, by Cory Booker, by Dick Durbin, by Barack Obama. Any of those individuals could say that. And it's key that he is making this point in an effort to understand that the division that exists coming from the left is the most valuable thing to them, at least the way that they present themselves today. You know, the left does have different policy positions than the right. There are progressive policy decisions and there are conservative policy decisions. Those are to be debated and disagreed upon. And there are people who are never going to change their mind if they're on the right, if they're on the left, based on where they sit on these policy issues. But that's where we thrive as a country, is the debate and the disagreement and the heated, passionate concern that we have for these issues. And the fact that they do take place over dinner tables or at barbecues or Little League games where you can discuss something like this in full disagreement and still arrive at the end of that conversation and not detest one another. Those conversations don't take place. Turn on your network news anytime between now and tomorrow and see how often you see policy being discussed. It's not. It's all drama. It's all sensationalized entertainment in the name of politics. And it doesn't make our country better. And does Donald Trump stoke those fires? He absolutely does. But Donald Trump is the response to 8 years of a media that refused to push back on an administration to work on behalf of the people versus on behalf of a political agenda. And people had had enough of it. And the only thing that could go up against it was this president. And he won. And I know that I was listening earlier today about someone who was talking about President Obama, and as soon as he was elected, people were advocating on making him a one-term president. It's a huge, huge key difference in making someone a one-term president and screaming impeachment. One of those relies on the will of the people. And that is not what impeachment is or does. If impeachment is for political reasons, it's for the wrong reasons. And I think that if that's what ends up happening in this country, we will suffer for it, just like we did in the 90s. Jed, hold on the line. Your call as soon as we get back. Anyone else who wants to talk about any of this or to remember 9/11 with us, we are welcoming that today. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Your phone calls when we come back.
Gone away, but I know.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
There she waits.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Remember the great day of weather we had yesterday? Let's do it again on this Tuesday. Lots of sunshine, nice. It's comfortable. Low humidity levels, the high near 80 degrees. Tonight, clear and cool. 58 for the overnight low. Wednesday and Thursday, more of the same. Lots of sunshine and nice. 82 Wednesday, and again on Thursday, about 85 degrees on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. A portion of every HVAC installation goes to Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up today at gslhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Contracting with Beck Estate Planning and Elder Law for the basics of estate planning can help you and your loved ones avoid probate. And this will be able to keep all of your affairs private after you pass away, and everything that belongs to you needs to be passed on to the next person, all of your assets. Do you really want that out in the open? Do you really want that to be public after you die and your your youngins are going to inherit everything that you had, and they're going to be able to see everything that you have. It's all going to be out there in the public. You don't want that. The key is to avoiding that is to protecting yourself, your family members, from understanding what assets are going where. It's to have a solid estate plan in place. Beck Estate Planning and Elder Law is a place you can go where you can have that initial consultation where they don't charge you anything because they believe that you should understand what they can offer you before they start taking your money. It's going to last about an hour and a half or so, depending on your personal situation. And it's a no obligation consultation. It'll provide you options so that you can make an informed decision. If you're looking into having some estate planning done for you, if you're looking for people who you can trust the folks at Beck Estate Planning and Elder Law. 636-946-7899, 636-946-7899, or online at beckelderlaw.com.
Hey, it's 3 a.m. and the ticking clock seems as loud as a jackhammer, and instead of dreaming about marshmallow clouds and, I don't know, running with antelopes, you're having night sweats and worried about your parents and their medical bills. They're older, you're stressed, I get it. But losing sleep over a few questions about a medical bill isn't going to help. What will is knowing your parents have Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They provide real people to talk to who can help, right then and there on the phone. It's this really crazy notion Anthem likes to call doing the right thing. So your parents will get the care they need, you'll feel more confident than ever, and those antelopes, well, they're about to get their running partner back.
For all the things that keep you up at night, Anthem Medicare has a solution. Real people empowered to get you on the right track so you can rest easy. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Rest easy. To learn more, visit resteasy-anthem.com. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of the Anthem Insurance Companies, Inc., independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Spectrum Business is transforming how your business does business because we're increasing our starting internet speeds up to 200 megabits per second without increasing our price. Now your business can get new, faster 200 meg Spectrum Business Internet, still just $44.99 a month. That's more starting speed than you'll get from other providers. And when you think about just how many devices are connected to your network, computers, printers, cell phones, and everything else using your Wi-Fi, it's just what your business needs. Finally, you can get rid of your slow internet service and start focusing on getting things done. Switch to Spectrum Business today with speed other providers can't beat at a price they can't match. Get Spectrum Business Internet now with speeds up to 200 megabits per second, still only $44.99 a month when bundled with Spectrum Business Voice for $29.99 a month. Call 877-778-0860 or visit business.spectrum.com/200 today. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Never paint again. Seriously. Who wants to paint anyways? Rhino Shield would love to paint your home, business, or church for the last time. You know, when it's not raining. Water and sun are the two most damaging villains against your home's defense for chipping, cracking, peeling, and rot. Our permanent ceramic coating locks out 100% of the moisture, 90% of the sun's UV rays, and we back it up with a 25-year transferable warranty. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. See why we are rapidly becoming your neighbor's go-to solution for cracks, splits, nail pops, and just bad color schemes. Now's the time to be smart to save time and money. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Wednesday, we'll talk about the Brett Kavanaugh vote with Missouri Senator Roy Blunt, plus the bottom line with Illinois congressional candidate Brendan Kelly.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York.
We are remembering 17 years ago, September 11th. And I love this song because to me it screams resilience. It's Frank Sinatra. This song existed before September 11th. But even if you've never been to New York City, like me, I've never been, longing to go, this song makes you, it feels American. There's something about the song that makes you feel pride in your country and in the biggest city in the world, the best city in the world. And it's a good way to end. It's a good way to go out. I appreciate it. So we've been taking phone calls here throughout the course of the day. I'm going to get to Katie here in just a second. But before, Katie, I get to you, I want to take Jed's phone call. Jed, thanks for calling in.
Hi, Annie. Great show today.
Thank you.
On September 11th, the old cathedral pastor at the time, Monsignor Bernard San Heinrich, was in New York City for a meeting. And his hotel was near a fire station, and he found himself hearing street corner confessions from firemen who knew what they were going down into. Monsignor was doing this all on one lung when he got stranded in New York, and I understand when he came back, his suitcase reeked for months and months. That lung went bad shortly after he got back. And for me, I'll always believe he's one of those unrecorded casualties of 9/11, and it's a privilege to be able to share that with you today.
Well, Jed, I appreciate that story because there are many like that, and those aren't the stories that we talk about a lot. But the tentacles of this tragedy reach far into the country, and that's certainly one of them that deserves recognition.
Thank you,
Jed. Thanks for calling the show. Thanks for listening. We had one other call. And I looked up in the break, and I saw it there, and then it hung up real quick. And then Katie came bursting in. She's like, I wanted that call to be on the air. And I go, what? So she started talking about it. I'm like, why don't you just come in and tell the people?
So we had a caller wanting to discuss Brandon Straka, who was just on in our last segment with you. He called to ask you, so is the conservative / Republican Party the safe haven for gay people now, or conservatives now just accepting gay people into the party, and this is where they can feel safe now after that interview?
So he wanted to call in and he wanted to ask me that question.
He did.
And then you put him on hold.
I did.
And then he hung up.
He did. That I just, I will say something very quickly. Something like that does not belong to a party. That is what we are all not trying to be put into boxes. I'm a conservative. I am a strong believer in gay rights. So that hit home for me when we get calls like that. And especially for someone like you, Annie, who is welcoming someone who is gay, who is getting out of one party and leaning towards another and saying, I'm inviting a lot of people who are probably not outspoken about something like this to join a revolution with me and to know that they don't have to be scared to leap into different beliefs and different ideologies than what we're told to be in.
To just be open with their own ideologies, to be able to say, I don't think that the government should take over my life. Sure. I don't think I need to surrender the majority of my paycheck so that I can have these services provided to me that I can provide to myself. So I'm going to answer his question here. And what I'm going to say is we have Brandon Straka. He's the founder of the Walk Away movement. He's leading people who have traditionally, quote unquote, belonged to the Democratic Party, and he's saying that's not for us anymore. I'm not making, when I have Brandon Straka on my show, I am making exactly zero statement on gay rights. Brandon Straka is an individual who is doing something that he feels is important for this country, and it involves embracing conservative ideals. And whether you find yourself on a hyper-conservative platform where you believe that gay rights isn't involved, you know what? We had a caller yesterday who wanted to talk to me about InfoWars. You do you. But I am not going to ever turn somebody away from this show who's going to embrace conservative ideals or who's going to embrace an alternative lifestyle to mine Because I don't think that even if you were against gay rights, I don't think that hate gets you anywhere. And you're not going to find it here. And I'm not even telling you my position on any of it. I welcome all people to vote Republican. I think that the Republican platform, the conservative agenda, benefits all people because it doesn't allow the government to identify which demographic trumps which demographic. That's where you lose your power. It's with the Democratic Party. And whether or not somebody like Brandon Straka is gay or straight makes absolutely no difference to me as the host for you from noon to 3 here on 97.1. So if you felt that compelled to call in and to give Katie an earful while she answered the phone, but you didn't want to hang on to talk to me about it, I don't think that says as much about me and my interest in having people on the show who maybe happen to be gay. I don't ask my other callers if they're heterosexual or homosexual. What if another one of them was gay? I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about religion here. We're not talking about social justice here right now. We were talking about the conservative movement and how it can embrace more people. And if you don't like that, and you're not willing to hang on the line to talk to me about it, find something that makes you happy.
It just goes to show you how close-minded and one-sided thinking so many people are when they are flabbergasted, shocked that a gay person could be conservative, or a black person could be conservative, or a Hispanic
They're
person
just
could be,
as individual as anybody else.
or a
Yes.
woman could be conservative. It's just some people are just they can't process it.
Mm-hmm.
And
guess what?
There's more and more.
Guess what? And the walk away movement is supposed to encourage people to come out of hiding. As Brandon said the first time he was on with us, that was the closet he was afraid to come out of, was the one where he came out and said, hey,
right,
I think I'm a conservative. And everyone's like, oh, Brandon.
Right.
You know, like that's ridiculous. You can go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. I posted a story last night from NPR. They're looking for women who voted for Trump. They want you to fill out a form. I hear a lot of alarm bells ringing. Here, we need all of the identification information for all of the women who voted for Trump.
All of you women that hate yourself.
But like I said on Facebook, before you respond to that on Facebook, are you a woman who voted for Trump? Well, I'll just wait right here while you go ask your husband how to respond. Keep remembering what happened 17 years ago and apply it to the next 17 years of your life. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you missed it, I gave my story at the top of the show. And I was 17 when it happened. I'm 34 now. I've lived half of my life before September 11th, 2001, and half of it afterwards. I'm very grateful for this country. I'm very grateful for everybody who has sacrificed to give me the opportunities I've had. I hope that's your experience as well. Dave Glover Show coming up.
Gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Hi, I'm Steve All of the All Financial Group. We often talk about how to get you to the retirement finish line, but there's another finish line we're focusing on this fall. At the All Financial Group, we're a proud sponsor of the 2018 St. Jude Walk Run to End Childhood Cancer. The children of St. Jude were my inspiration as I completed my very first marathon. Their stories helped give me strength on even the toughest training days. St. Jude has helped push the overall survival rate for childhood cancer to 80% today. But they won't stop until no child dies from cancer. Let's help them get to the finish line. Join me at the starting line on Saturday, September the 22nd at the St. Louis Arch Grounds in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Or make a donation and find out more about joining the team at steveall.com. That's STEVEAUL.com.
As summer approaches, are you wanting a place to spend more time outdoors with family and friends? Now, through October 31st, Lakeside Exteriors is offering 18 months interest-free financing or 25% off carpentry, stone and brick, and deck projects. Call Lakeside Exteriors today at 636-978-5000 or visit us online at lakesideexteriors.com. And let us help you add that beautiful entertainment space like a new rear porch or 3 or 4 season room and enjoy the summer doing the things you love. Lakeside Exteriors, helping you create your dream home.
In Missouri, back when Claire McCaskill wanted our vote, she said she was against amnesty for illegal immigrants.
I have never said I was for amnesty, ever. I do not believe amnesty is the right way to go on immigration.
But once in Washington, McCaskill joined the liberals for granting amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants without border protections in place. And again, McCaskill sided with Washington liberals protecting sanctuary cities like San Francisco, havens for dangerous illegal immigrant criminals, promising one thing to get our vote and doing the opposite in Washington. After 12 years in the Senate, it's clear Claire McCaskill's gone Washington and left Missouri behind. It's time to retire Claire McCaskill. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1,
a radio.com station.
Hurricane Florence will be devastating. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That prediction from the head of FEMA moments ago in the Oval Office, holding a briefing on Hurricane Florence with the president.
The safety of American people is my absolute highest priority. We are sparing no expense. We are totally prepared. We're ready. We're as ready as anybody's ever been.
President Trump has already issued disaster declarations for the Carolinas and for Virginia. The National Weather Service warning there will be statewide impacts, not just along the coast. And there's concern about possible flooding in multiple states. Fox's Gernal Scott with more live.
Lisa, 4 states in the District of Columbia all have states of emergency active as Florence churns in the Atlantic. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says his state is directly in the storm's path and as a major hurricane is nothing to play with.
This is not a storm that you need to try and ride out.
Cooper has ordered a coastal evacuation, reversing beach routes to accommodate residents. He's urging residents inland to be ready to go as well. Florence is expected to hit land late into Thursday, with rain and wind lasting for hours after, Lisa.
Thanks, Colonel. During that Oval Office briefing, the president also talking trade, saying the U.S. is taking a very tough stance with China, though he did not say he was implementing the next round of tariffs, $200 billion worth, still waiting in the wings. A room-by-room search underway at a hospital near Los Angeles after initial reports of a possible active shooter. Not clear yet if anyone has been injured, but there is one person in custody at Kaiser Permanente Downey Medical Center. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has not said if there may be any other suspects. Wall Street rallies. The Dow up about 114 at the closing bell. The S&P and the NASDAQ also higher. Fox News, fair and balanced.
No holds barred talk, can't miss documentaries, specials, and more. Plus your favorite Fox News personalities. This is our time, and this is going to be our place. Fox Nation, coming soon. Sign up for updates and be the first to know. Go to foxnation.com now. The Fox News Rundown is a weekly morning podcast that dives deep into the major and controversial stories of the day. Hosted by the anchors of Fox News Radio. Subscribe now to hear a perspective of news you won't find anywhere else. Find it now on foxnewspodcasts.com. Tucker Carlson.
There's just so much barking and noise and yelling. Our role is to take 3 steps back and discern what really matters.
Sean Hannity.
The most important thing that we do, we are looking out for the forgotten men and women in this country.
Laura Ingraham.
They're going to get a straight shooter, no holds barred. I'm not going to cut people slack.
Fox is the one place where dissent is allowed.
We have voices. We won't be silent.
Who controls my voice? Nobody.
Fox News Channel. Real news, real honest opinion.
97.1 News Time 3:03. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. President Donald Trump has canceled a campaign rally in Missouri as a potentially catastrophic hurricane nears the East Coast. The president announced today he's canceling his planned visit to Cape Girardeau on Thursday. His campaign says it's the safest decision in light of the approaching hurricane. Hurricane Florence is expected to hit the East Coast early Friday morning. The operators of a Missouri duck boat that sank in July, killing 17 people, say in a court filing that a lawsuit from Missouri's Attorney General is irresponsible and, quote, littered with factual inaccuracies and innuendo, unquote. Attorney General Josh Hawley's lawsuit, filed last month, accused Branson Duck Vehicles and Ripley Entertainment, Inc. of violating Missouri's consumer protection law and putting profits above safety. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
Hey, this is Joe Cordell. I'm here to talk to you about an unpleasant but an important subject, and that's the subject of divorce. If you're in a good marriage, or even a marriage that's not so good but that can be saved, then you can tune out for the next 60 seconds. Now I want to speak to the guys that are still listening. Odds are you're like a lot of guys. You've worked hard to get ahead, you have a nice home, some savings, a solid retirement plan, and children that you love more than life itself. Yet despite your thoughtful game plan, you're now facing a divorce that you can't avoid. That's where we come in. Cordell & Cordell makes it its business to focus on representing men in your situation.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 314-725-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Chesterfield, St. Charles, Arnold, Edwardsville, and Belleville.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Cordell & Cordell, 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017.
Imagine 5 or 10 years from now finding out that you could have had more money saved for retirement if you had simply taken the time to work toward ensuring your portfolio was tax efficient. That extra vacation you could have taken, or maybe even retiring earlier than you thought possible. We've all heard about the Trump tax changes, but do you know what it means for you? Call Heisey Advisory Group today at 314-909-1116 and register for our upcoming no-cost live tax class on September 27th at Umsel West County Center at 6 p.m. We can help show you how your taxes might be affected by the Trump tax change today and in retirement. Be diligent when planning. Work toward minimizing the effect Washington has on your retirement. Call now and get registered at 314-909-1116.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals.